Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 1,158th meeting of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Notice of this meeting has been properly posted in public in accordance with the requirements of the New Jersey Public Meetings Act. Before we get to the roll call, I will note for the record that this evening we are experimenting so far successfully with having the meeting conducted both in person and via Zoom, and that two of our commissioners will be participating this evening via Zoom. They are Commissioner Dorsey and Commissioner Johnson. With that, we have our opening roll call. Commissioner Dorsey. Strong start. Commissioner Dorsey, can you hear us?
Well, he was.
Oh, you can finance it. You take that fucking. You take. If you got.
I'm always on the
Please advise, Commissioner, we have begun. We'll come back. Commissioner Goodday. Here. Commissioner Hall. Here. Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills. Here. And Chairwoman Marshall.
Here.
All right, we'll return to Commissioner Dorsey.
All right, we could continue with the agenda. It's our first night, so
We
we'll
will,
do an experiment.
we will add Commissioner Dorsey as soon as he's able to join us. This time I would ask everyone to rise and join in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible.
liberty and justice for all.
All right, public comment?
Dorsey can hear.
Ms. Spellman, Scattered Sites?
Yes.
All right. Would you like to speak?
Yes.
Okay, come up. Yes, you can come up to the podium, please.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
My concern was, I've been in scattered sites for 17 years. When I moved from Shore Terrace, where we were living, we had Hope 6. And I was the only one there. I don't have no children or nothing. They were not building 1 bedrooms, so they gave me a 2 bedroom. And we were told that we would be able to stay in the houses for 5 years, and then we would have rent with the option to buy. They did away with that before I moved to the scattered site. They were coming to me telling me I had to move, but they were tearing Shore Terrace down. So I got the 2 bedroom and I was there for the 17 years. So now they coming to me telling me that I have to move to one of the high-rise buildings. The high-rise buildings is all messed up, mold, everything. And I can't move there. I can't. I had brain surgery in 2014. I don't do elevators at all. And I explained it to them. I'm waiting for the note from my doctor. And then we're gonna go from there.
Just does Mrs. Brock have your contact info?
I don't want to step on your.
Yes, I spoke to her before.
All right, thank you.
We can set up an appointment to discuss it further. I'm not exactly familiar with the situation.
Okay, all right. Can I say something? Is that hours for seniors? Well, now it's for everybody. For seniors.
It's senior and disabled.
Well, I can wait for it, that's what they did to me, when I explained it to y'all, they said that thing.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Someone will be in contact with you.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Trying to pronounce this name, Stanley Home Village. Looks like the last name is Emmanuel.
Kyoko. It's really long, that's me.
Kyoko?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how are you?
I am wonderful in yourself.
Pretty well.
Oh, I'm in an awkward spot. Right on. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen. It's 3 minutes?
Yes.
Great, okay. So I'm Kyoko Manuel. And again, I just want to remind the board that we have created a unofficial nominated committee for the residents. We have these 5 positions that are confirmed. The other 2, they're gonna be there on occasion, but we at least have the 5 main officers in place. And I believe we have 1, 2, 3 are present today. We've been having meetings with Google Meet. We also corresponded with the director, letting him know to please send in correspondences. I believe you kind of take it off the plate. I just want to thank you for your transparency. I think that the council did really well. I think that we need to continue to create dialogue with residents, not just at Stanley Homes, because I feel like Stanley Homes is getting a lot of attention via the media, but we need to utilize that to work with all the sites, not just Stanley Homes. Stanley Homes just happens to be in the forefront of the media. I believe that we need to use this momentum to kind of just group together, because if your budget is 2.5 million, and that's what you have for all the sites. See, I thought it was for Stanley Homes. I didn't realize that budget is shared amongst all the other properties. So even though Stanley Homes is having this issue, and among other issues, I believe that we have to work together as a team. And I asked the residents and the committee that are getting themselves present today just to let's create points, because we haven't really had our next meeting yet, so I can't really address too much. But I just want to make it very clear to the board that we're working together collectively, so that way when we do address the board, we can have our points, our mind, and what the residents are just trying to articulate to the board. And as far as I'm not going to be that person, come to the board and communicate the residents' concerns in a professional manner, orderly, organized. And hopefully soon we can come back and meet again and with a little bit more information once we have our next meeting.
Okay. You said unofficial?
Because we haven't had the election process, that's why I said unofficial. So we haven't, hopefully we have to get 30% of the residents ready to be confirmed. So we do have to have that, and we're just trying to get organized. We're trying to have the election process. We have to get 30% of the residents to show up for it to actually take place. So far, Ms. Street agrees with the people that I have in place.
Okay, I was gonna ask you that because we want it to be official.
Okay.
And you were in contact with Judy.
That's the thing, we gotta get the residents to shop, so we're probably gonna have to move it to Soldier Farm.
Okay.
30% of the residents have what, 13, how many residents are in total for all villages?
There's a lot, but so 2, 3.
So we need at least about 100, what, 120, 130 residents?
Okay.
Could you identify yourself?
Yes, Dolman now, Domine. Yoko, K-I-O, Emmanuel.
Where are you from?
Atlanta City, Downtown.
Stanley Home. Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay, let us know what assistance you need to become official
Marketing, or not marketing, but we
residents.
gotta put some fires together. We would like access to any, materials that we can utilize to kind of facilitate. I don't have any information regarding all of the residents. I'd like to be able to, have the management put together a flyer, so we do this all over again. Because like I said, we had 15 people show up, and out of the 15, I got 13 people to commit to actually participating and volunteering. If they can't join the board, they decided to say, hey, well, this is what I can do, I can volunteer my time. So I got 13 people out of 15 guaranteed, confirmed to participate in our next meeting.
Okay.
And the election process as well.
What is the next meeting?
That's pretty good, that's like 95%.
What is the next meeting?
Mr. Young?
Yes.
What date do we agree on? May 15th at 5? Okay.
May 15th what?
At 5 o'clock.
Oh,
What day do we do that? That's, I believe, a Thursday.
okay. Maybe you should talk to the press too, if they can run a free ad, you know, to get the residents to come out. So, Ms. Michelle, you hear that? The residents not coming out to the meeting, we want a lot of them to come out, so if you can help us out too, for the residents to put something out there for them to come to this meeting. With the team we're trying to set up over at the standing home would be great. And then also too, if you could talk to Ms. Brown, so you can exchange contacts, you can reach out to the manager over at Stanley Group to see what they can do to print those flyers out for you guys,
Sounds
to
good.
pass it out, so, all right?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ms. Manuel, just one quick question.
Yes, sir.
So I realize that you're in the process of organizing.
Yes.
So Ms. Great recently distributed to the resident leaders a meeting schedule.
Okay.
And so we can periodically meet with our resident leaders and have conversations, get feedback.
Okay, sounds good.
Realizing that Stanley is early on in the process, just want to make sure that you're aware of that meeting schedule once the formal election can take place.
Sounds great, thank you.
And commissioners as well, we would have to be invited into your meeting, because it would be your meeting, but
Absolutely. We're open to, just keeping this relationship and moving in a positive direction, so I'm excited.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Young?
Steve Young, I'm here on behalf of National Action Network South Jersey Chapter, Northern South Founder. And I want to thank you for having transparency of being live. And Zoom. Transparency is very key to being able to ask a lot of questions. Second of all, I want to congratulate you, because we've been for the last 67 months as National Action Network on training with the residents of Stanley Homes Village, taking them to Washington DC. It has been a very family type of atmosphere. Although a lot of things are going on, order and transparency, but things are starting to go on. So I want to congratulate all the residents. Without them, there will not be no board. Without them, there will be no HUD. And when we went to Washington DC, it was very transparent. We met with HUD, we met with Congressman Van Drew's staff, we met with Senator Menendez's staff, as well as Senator Booker's staff. And you've seen recently what Menendez said nationally, and put the housing authority on notice that things need to be happening. And he talked directly to the interim HUD Secretary of State. So we want to thank all of them for that, as well as no matter what you may think about Councilman Van Drew, he's been there. And he's been foot on the ground with the residents. And we want to continue to thank his support for what he's been doing. Now, there's a few questions we want to ask. How many residents from Stanley Homes Village is actually in hotels? I don't have to answer right now, I got 3 more. How many non-residents from Stanley Homes Village, and how many from other sites? How many residents from Stanley Homes Village have received Section 8 certificate? And out of all the Section 8 vouchers, how many are still available for everybody in the house? Because we've not only been representing and talking about and going to Washington with standing home residents, scatter sites, senior buildings, Section 8, it's all together with HUD and through the housing. So we want to continue to have that type of networking. We're going to be going and educating other housing authorities as well as other resident associations. So everybody can be on one page so we can move from this city forward when it comes to housing and rights. So I'm going to just olive branch again. And we want to continue to have that struggle and that fight together because everybody brings something different to the table. And that's what we learned from riding 8 hours together on the bus.
That's right.
So that commitment we want to continue to have. And again, I want to congratulate the residents because they stood up and they stayed fast. And without them, we don't have anything. Thanks.
That's right.
I just want to say we all are on the same page. And as far as Congressman Van Drew, we only asked, he's right there in DC with HUD. We asked for Section 8 vouchers. And we also asked for his district, his area, Atlantic County, Cape May County, if he could provide some landlords, if he could put the word out in his area, if there are any landlords who were willing to take residents with Section 8 vouchers. That's it. We support and we welcome everything, even the investigations that he's called for. It takes up a lot of the time of our staff that they have to dig and look for information to provide. But we're open to investigations. But more importantly, we definitely need landlords in Atlantic and Cape May County who are willing to take Section 8 vouchers. So one of our commissioners did reach out to him to have a meeting. He's yet to reach back out for us to have a meeting, but if you could get the message to him, if he know anyone, you know, that's willing to take residents with a Section 8 voucher, please let us know, okay?
Thank you. My 3 questions.
Of course. So, Mr. Young, did you get a sneak peek at my ED report for this month? Because 2 of those questions will be answered in my report. The first question about the current number of residents that are in the hotel, we'll have to get back to you in writing because I don't want to misrepresent that number. I don't have it in front of me or in my head at the moment, so we can actually check on that and get back to you. The other 2 questions, again, I will address that as part of the report.
What part of those questions?
I'm talking about the Section 8 vouchers, how many are available, how many have been issued. Yep.
Thanks.
Mr. Mays?
Yes.
All right.
Good afternoon, Stephen Mays, owner operator, M&M Productions LLC, janitorial. 1 second, Mr. Mays. Just wanted to get some assistance on a contract that sort of briefs by the Housing Authority. March 6, 2023, we solicited a clean and bid contract. Won the bid 5 of 6, and it took 6 months to have a proceed to work the contract. When we got the contract 6 weeks in, we reviewed the contract that was awarded and found that there was some inconsistencies to what requirements we had to work the contract. We submitted a letter to the 17th floor. Unfortunately, 6 months again went by, magical 6 months, and never got a return call. Never got a response or acknowledgement. And it wasn't until we sent a second letter, which was dated for March the 11th. And this time we CC'd a copy to the chair. And magically delicious, when that happened, I got calls. Unfortunately, did not get any resolve, and would like to have the opportunity to bring some type of clarity to why we were disenfranchised from the contract. that we legally want through a public bid process. And we have all supportive documentation that gives the opportunity to be more specific in that it's a private matter. Hopefully it can be dealt with in a private setting. Don't want to share too much detailed information since it's a private matter. So I would hope that the board would consider giving me the opportunity to present the specifics so that we can resolve the issue. Unfortunately, that has taken over 6 months and there's been no response or satisfaction to our concerns.
For the benefit of the board members, Mr. Mays admits that he and I did have some lengthy email exchange in the recent past about the issues to which he's alluding. To the extent that those issues require discussion by the board, that would be a matter, of course, that we done in closed session, not the open session. And Mr. Mays, as a general rule, if there is anything that you want to present to the board, you're free to do that. If you would like to present a package of information of whatever kind and whatever arguments you feel are appropriate, feel free to present that. You have the absolute right to do that, and it will be considered in turn and in the right form, which in the case of a contract dispute would be closed session. Okay.
So will he be able to speak in the closed session?
There may come a time for that, but initially we don't have anything in front of us right now. I know his issues only because he and I have discussed them. But when Mr. Mays presents to the board, whatever it is he wants all the commissioners to look at, we'll discuss that, and it may be that at that time the board members feel that it would be appropriate for him to also speak to them in closed session. But we'll see what happens.
Okay, so, 1 second. I think I reached out to the chair about the matter because I think a month ago he brought a package that he gave us. I think I'll pass it out and also to Mr. Mayor, that's how we can reach out to the chair to see what we can try to resolve this matter. I then reach out to you too about his concern, and I talked with, the director. So I don't know if we have time today, Chair, if we can be able to just try to resolve these issues. Because I know he's been coming back and forth trying to get some type of conclusions, so I'm just asking the board or chair if we can give him the opportunity today in closed session to express his concern. If we do have time, if it's over.
My suggestion, Commissioner, would be that it's premature to do that because you do have some information because you've dealt with Mr. Mays. I have some information because I've dealt with him, but the full picture of what it is that Mr. Mays is asserting with respect to these contracts is fairly complicated. And I think it's something that if the board wants to truly understand it and make the right decision, whatever they deem that to be, you really need to see the full package of information and time to digest it.
So, Mr. Mays, maybe we can wait next month. Would that be possible?
Well, that would be entirely dependent on by Mr. Mays is able to provide you with info on what it is he provides.
So, how will we get the information like the rest of the board? I know you know some things about it. How the rest of us will get the information? Will he bring it in, or how will we get that information and look over it, or will it be like a package?
Well, I'm assuming that Mr. Mays will have an information package he provides. Now, whether or not that would include his and my earlier exchanges, I can share that with you, of course, as members of the board, to the extent that they're not already part of his package.
So, Mr. Mays, if you could get those information, like you say, you see the chairwoman, our attorney, just do that, then they can pass it on to the director, and they can pass it on to the rest of the board.
Let me make one note. It's not an argument. It's one number, not complicated. So it's not anything that has to be given deep thought. It's one number.
Just
And it's one situation.
Just send the information here. Just send the information and then he will.
So I can forward it to Mr. Lucre and to the chair.
Yeah, and they just give it directly and then they'll pass it on.
Okay. And then I will have an opportunity on the next board meeting to.
Into the hands of the attorney, you can forward that information.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Council. I appreciate the moments in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wish to speak? All right. If you could just sign in and I'll let you speak. Street Minister Booty. All right, you have 3 minutes. Good afternoon.
I'm here as a participant in the plight of staying home. I came into contact with few of the ladies there that brought me complaints in regards to what it is, what it ain't, that is not getting, they should be getting, and what not things to do. I've been a counselor as well as a legal advisor. I advise them on what to do. I come to this board now to ask for 2 things. One is that why is that nobody is attending to the medical conditions of the families that have been subjected to the harsh, cruel, and unjust punishment that that house has been delivered upon them, such as the breathing apparatus. A lot of those women have problem breathing, a lot of them have sinuses, allergies, and hay fever that's not being treated, or they're not bringing it forth into the board on the panels. The second issue is the Section 8. During the time that the memos was passed out for the Section 8 staying at home residents to, you said was 500 that was available for them. There was a miscommunication that was deciphered from this office in regards to the return of the said vouchers. Now, when the people filled out the application for the Section 8, there was a deadline, then we put it in the mailbox here. They were not told, the majority were not told that there was a deadline for it to be put here in the mail on a certain date and time. Of course, you at the panel know what that date was. I mean, doing so much, I lost sight of the date. A lot of residents never got that memo. How do I know? Because they brought it to my attention. So when are we gonna get the Section 8 vouchers, permission, or the receipt for us to make an application for it? I couldn't answer it. And I'm here before you today to find out why. And there's been a miscommunication in those residents getting the Section 8 vouchers. I have another issue. Back in Maryland, 3 ladies from there called me in regards to them being fired from their job. The landlord gave them 3 different leases in 1 week. One where he added on a stipend of a rent payment. The other one that he increased it again. Another increase again, and told them in no uncertain terms they have, that's bribe, that's force, that's coercion, that's bullying them to sign it or else get rejected out of the back Maryland process. So I need you as the HUD members, as the Section 8, to inquire as to why that landlord is not doing the same thing that other landlords are doing and keeping their property up. Because I've been in some of the homes. If you like, I would like to show you a picture of one of them. And the lady just got it fixed yesterday. She gave it to me a month and a half ago after we went to Washington, D.C. So I am a freedom fighter for the underprivileged people. And I'd like to have your cooperation whenever I present myself to you. Some of you in this panel already have met me and know that I'm real about what I do, and I do it from my heart, from God perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair.
Okay, is anyone, Chris, anyone on Zoom who wish to speak?
I believe she's trying to speak, but my speakers are going in the wrong place.
All right, 1 second. Commissioner Gabay?
No, I think we should try to respond to this, the third question you asked about back Maryland and stuff. That, I don't know, are they Section 8 resident? Because
some of them are, some of them aren't.
all right, because back Maryland, they don't have nothing to do with us. You know, so that's not our, we have nothing to do with that. Our property is different from whatever in back Maryland is way, way different. I just wanted to let you know that. But the other 2 questions that you asked, that's something, you know, that we have to try to get an answer to. But something that have to do with back Maryland, Burlington Homes,
There's
for you
also two
also.
section eights, one with federal and one with state. So you have to see.
It's all federal.
You said it's already.
Yeah, the property is not what house.
Excuse me, could you give me clarity that you say you have a state and a federal, who that applicable to?
Section 8 vouchers are all HUD, it's all federal. It just depends on who administers that voucher.
Okay, so
It's the difference.
Stanley Homes is the only one that has both of them, or?
Stanley Homes, the residents do not have Section 8 vouchers.
It's a public housing property, not a section
Yes.
eight property.
Correct.
And, back Maryland is the same, they don't have,
That's another form of HUD. HUD has many programs. Back Maryland is a different form of HUD housing, public housing.
could one of you give me that information so I can pass it on to the residents there so they'll stop bombarding?
We
me?
don't have anything to do with back Maryland.
Alright.
And there are issues everywhere. I heard you mention issues. Atlantic City has a whole lot of old housing stock. And there are a lot of issues back Maryland as well, but we don't have anything to do with any of the developments. I believe there's about 4 developments back Maryland. We don't have anything to do with that.
That goes another question, if you don't mind. Why is there so many abandoned buildings here? And there's no for sale sign, no for rent sign, no for lease signs. but anything-
I know you do come and speak at council meetings.
Yes, I do.
You can, that's a city council question.
Well, why doesn't HUD or your office take it over, or get the bids or the auction on some of those houses and donate them to the community?
That's a city council, a city issue. You have to address that there. But I will just quickly say, if someone has private property and they are paying their taxes and they're keeping it up to the code, they can do pretty much what they want to do with their own private property. You can't just take someone's property because you feel like you boarded it up. Oh, well, HUD, come take it. No, that's not the way it works in America. But please, you can address that at city council meetings.
All right, thank you very much.
Chris, anyone on Zoom?
Yes, Madam Chair. Dorsey.
Yes. Try again, Mr. Dorsey.
Commissioner Dorsey, can you hear me?
I can.
Barely.
Is Commissioner Dorsey, can everyone hear me?
Keep turning the TV up, keep turning the TV up. I'm trying. It's supposed to cut out the top. There you go.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Commissioner Dorsey. I just wanted to note that we discussed this before as a board, and while we appreciate public advocates, these blanket complaints, I'll call them, of indescript people and indescript incidents without a person and a unit number, they don't help us resolve anything. Telling me that somebody had an issue without telling me who that issue is does not help us as a board address a specific issue or resolve a specific issue. So I'll repeat what I said before. If you have an issue to address and advocate for a specific tenant, we need tenant name, address, specific issue, and we prefer some documentation of how they submitted that complaint and how the authority did not address the complaint. The board is the step that you go to after the administration has received a complaint and has failed to address it. We administrate over the executive director. We don't directly interact with the rest of the administration. So our job is to make sure that the executive director is looking over his staff and making sure that they're addressing the tenant issues the best way possible. So I just wanted to note that we had discussed this before. We have lengthy meetings. We can't have filibusters about blanket things that don't help us resolve problems. We need specifics so that we can tackle exact issues. While I'm speaking, also want to say, welcome to our meeting to Miss Ava. I understand we'll be getting extra billing today for Manfredi and Colecchio. I'll welcome the resolution for the additional billing for Manfredi Colecchio for their intern, Miss Ava, attending our meeting today. Future prodigy, hopefully in the field in the future, helping us with the housing authority and our future endeavors. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. She's billing at a zero rate. Thank you.
That's the manager.
At least buy her dinner.
intern. Mr. Boone, I will say this on behalf of the administration, we're gonna check into this property, and if we do have any Section 8 clients that do reside there, we're gonna follow up on the matter to the extent that we can. First things first, we need to look into it a little further.
Chris, is there anyone else?
No one is, you might call for raising of a hand if anyone wants to speak online, but I don't see them.
You don't see anyone? Okay. All right, thank you. We can move forward with the agenda.
Thank you, Chair. Item number 4 is the approval of the minutes. These will be the minutes from the closed session of February 22nd and the open and closed sessions of March 28th. Before we get a motion and second on that, just a reminder, Commissioner Hall, your phone has dropped out. So when you vote, you probably want to abstain on the closed session of 2328. Thank you. So may I have a motion and second to approve those minutes?
Motion.
Thank you. Motion, Commissioner Beck.
Second, Dorsey.
We'll see, a day late, a dollar short. Commissioner Wills. Roll call vote. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Are we lost?
Yes.
He said yes. He said yes. Commissioner Beck.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
With the noted abstention to the closed
that's
session.
saying, yeah,
Thank you.
yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills
Yes.
and Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
Minutes are approved, 6 in favor, none opposed. Brings us to item 5, reports of board committees.
The executive committee did meet, and it will be a part of Tom's report.
All right. Seeing no others. Item 6, report of the treasurer.
Treasurer's report will be completed. If you have any question or concern, feel free.
That's a resolution.
Brings us to item 7. I'm sorry.
I just want to ask, maybe this question for Tom or maybe our treasurer about like the hotels, the resident that's staying at the hotel, do we owe any like outstanding bill out there for the hotels? Are we up to date with our bills with the hotels and stuff?
We did cut some checks, like we just got some invoice for this, I did pay up to the March, the April bill is just coming in, so they're up to date so far.
So we're up to date with all our bills with the
Once
hotels, we don't owe
the
anything.
invoice came in, we cut checks and we distributed.
And is it in the report?
Yeah, that's on a check run report, like the one that cut checks and the other one have, the one which can be cut. So, yeah.
Check mark. It's listed on the bills list. I think it's 2 different hotels. It's not in that report, it's part of the resolution, bills list resolution.
So, there's also an additional portion that our comptroller did provide, so during my ED's report.
Item 7, report of the secretary. All right.
So I will continue the same regular cadence of the monthly reporting. So I'll begin with stamp. Our architectural and engineering firm will be on site next week. The timelines for various deliverables have already been communicated with them to ensure that they're achieved for completion of work. Right now, priorities are the heating system and related items. So far, 51 households have transferred to other properties or leased up under a Section 8 voucher between October 1st and today. Our plumbing contractor is still on site and is completing repiping of 2 entire buildings this week. As of late, the hotels have been experiencing extremely limited availability due to conferences and other advanced bookings. Residents have been notified by resident services of the return dates and were offered alternate accommodation options. Maintenance has proactively provided space heaters for use while repairs are ongoing. And this is for every unit. We have enough space heaters for every unit. We are in the process right now of setting some tentative dates for Stanley-specific resident meetings. We need concrete information from our A&E firm to have a fully informed conversation with our residents about the current state of the property. For housing choice voucher, 49 vouchers have been issued to Stanley residents and households to date. On Monday, we received updated HUD Health Reserve data, and the following evening, I put an email together after analyzing the numbers and advised HUD that we have adequate HUD Health reserves to immediately issue another 151 vouchers to Stanley households to bring the total up to 200 vouchers issued. We're also in the process now with this new information of analyzing our administrative reserves in the Section 8 program to offer landlord incentives for leasing up to our clients, Stanley residents. The objective in doing that is to increase housing opportunities for our clients through increased landlord participation. The Department of Community Affairs has partnered with us, and they have been assisting our residents with housing navigator services. They've also been providing referrals to other financial resources to help with security deposits and assistance with setting up of utilities. For finance, our fiscal year 2023 audit is still ongoing. They actually were in the office this week, and the field work is expected to conclude next week. So the issuance of their final report is still anticipated to be on track for June of 2024. Our fiscal year 2022 capital fund budget, which unfortunately was never fully submitted in 2022, has been corrected and was resubmitted and approved by HUD. What that means is that we now have access 2 years later to capital funds that we did not have access prior to. We have reported as of today an 84% obligation for capital fund eligible activities. We are drafting an extension request to have additional time to obligate the remaining 16%. But we need architectural and engineering specifications in order to do that, so we can award contracts and thus obligate those funds. The fiscal year 2023 capital fund budget, which follows in suit with the 2022 budget, was also never submitted. That one was due March of 2023. That fiscal year 23 budget is included in our 2024 annual plan as an add-on. Once the 45-day public review and comment period is over, we will be presenting that annual plan to the board for adoption. Once that occurs, then we will also submit that and get those funds unlocked so that we can actually use them. Our fee accounting situation, the solicitation is expected to be advertised early next week, which means that we can award that contract, hopefully if we get responses this time, as it'll be the third time it'll be solicited in May. Currently also working on the Choice Neighborhoods closeout. We were provided with a draft transformation plan, and HUD has agreed to accept by the 30th of this month the transformation plan as it stands, as well as the closed out budget for the planning grant. Also related to finance, as I just advised Commissioner Gabay, at the previous meeting, I believe, you had requested some, fiscal numbers related to spending and Stanley Homes. Year to date, I should say fiscal year to date, we have spent a total of $117,699 on food reimbursements and per diems. That was the result of the board passing a policy for per diems and meal reimbursements.
You said 117,000?
Yes, 699 and 22 cents.
That's for like the hotel, the gym, and all that stuff.
Just for meal reimbursements. For hotels, which is the second category, as of today's date, we have spent a total of $291,846.20 on hotel accommodations for standing residents, as well as other sites if the situation, because it does apply to all the residents, not just Stanley. These numbers actually are specific to Stanley, so I will correct myself, it's not for all. So 291,846. Also for our residents that have elected to move, the board also had passed a policy for a moving allowance. To date, we have spent $41,400 on moving expenses.
So that, can you just call that number, what's the moving allowance number, so, for.
To date, we spent $41,400.
Yeah, no, so I'm like, what's the?
Oh, what's the breakdown?
Yeah, it's 1,200.
It's 1,200 in total. The way that our moving allowance works is that first 50%, $600 is extended to the residents prior to move, and then the remaining 600 is offered upon move.
So everybody get the same amount?
Correct, that's the amount across the board.
It's a flat $1,200.
Different size, family, I know this is it. Yeah, I know y'all doing exactly, but you get 3 bedrooms, you got somebody had.
Yeah, but average bedroom size is also factored into a set amount. On the management side, we continue to focus on vacancy turnover.
I'm sorry, with the food and the reimbursement and the hotel, moving, do you have the total number, like, the total?
Well, these are 3 separate, I can add it together.
Okay,
I can just look at it right now. But,
All right, no, I just wanted to see, okay, now go ahead, you go ahead.
On the management side, so continuing with vacancy turnovers, which is related to what I previously stated about the health reserves and taking a more aggressive stance with trying to provide our residents with better quality housing. We are targeting an additional 100 units for turnovers over the next 5 months. We continue to use our occupancy tracker, which Ms. Brock is in frequent conversations with HUD, our portfolio management specialist. And then we're also in the process through maintenance of creating punch lists and determining if we have units that need to be taken temporarily offline for modernization. Now that we have an A&E firm, we can actually get solid numbers on what their projected costs for modernization are, so that we can get the classification approved by HUD. The draft ACOP, which stands for the Admissions and Continued Occupancy Policy, and related policies are on tonight's agenda. Assuming the board approves it, that those policies and the ACOP will be put out for a 45-day public review and comment period. Ms. Great has also distributed a meeting schedule, as I previously mentioned, with our resident leaders from various properties. So we're looking forward to doing those. Final category of this report is personnel. Unfortunately, I regret to inform the board that we made an offer for procurement coordinator, and that offer was turned down. So simultaneously, and I just got this information today. So, sorry, last night.
We don't wait, no.
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to put names out there, but yes. So we had a qualified individual that had interviewed. We were hopeful that the individual would be joining our team, and unfortunately, the job offer was turned down. So we are reposting. We are also going to be contacting other agencies to see if we can enter into an interlocal service agreement as an alternative to that, because we have unfortunately been experiencing a very difficult time. I know it's a competitive hiring market right now, but we've been running into an issue where we're either not getting resumes that have the right qualifications for certain positions, because they are very technical, or we extend an offer and it ends up being declined.
Excuse me, did you interview her or was it?
For the QPA?
Yes,
I'm just asking, you do you interview another person for the procure person?
yes, myself and our personnel director. Yes. So there's a little bit of bad news, a little bit of good news is that in finance, our principal account clerk, we will have a new person join our team next Monday. Has exactly the qualifications and experience that we're looking for. And so we're looking forward to having for principal accounts clerk. So I'm a member of the finance department. So again, excited that we're bringing a new person onto the team. Interviewed very, very well, has a great deal of experience and appears to be a highly organized and detail-oriented individual. Modernization coordinator, I'm currently going through an additional 5 resumes. Unfortunately, as seems to be the case for this position, we're really getting resumes that do not have related experience and the right qualifications. It's a very, again, technical position that requires a solid understanding of our capital fund and how to oversee the capital fund, oversee related contracts. So at the end of this review, there is a chance that we're gonna have to repost that one again. We recently started using FADA, which stands for the Public Housing Authority Directors Association. Their online job board, which is a national, and a lot of people that work in housing already tend to look at those job boards. So we're, again, very hopeful that with casting a wider net, that will get a little bit more interest in the positions that we're really looking to fill at this point. CFO, an offer letter was sent out and also turned down. This one was a little bit different, and this was a personal situation that developed after the job offer was extended, and would have prevented this person from committing to the position for a length of time that we just don't have that luxury. We are still in the midst of union negotiations with our 3 unions. We appear to be nearing completion on those, and once that happens, we will bring the results of that back to the board so that we can present the collective bargaining agreements to the board. And maintenance as well, related to personnel. We are targeting the hire of approximately 5 additional maintenance personnel over the next month. And that concludes our report.
That's good for, that's not what you stand on, that's for every housing authority, because all of them only have 1 really. For the 1 maintenance, so you're hiring for each housing authority, because each site.
It's for the entire housing authority, and then our maintenance director, Mr. Davis, will.
You have 5 guys working to all the sites, or they will be
additional on top of the.
What's the total number we have right now? Is that, if you don't mind me?
Total we have right now minus local 55 is 15.
15. Maintenance. I mean, there's nothing to around it. But I'm just saying, it's still part of everything. So I'm saying where the cold works, with my manager, we only have 1. So that's what I'm saying. You said you got 13. Where's the 15 at? Just over his family?
No, everywhere. Well, to me, 9.
Everywhere we but we have just at Blue. Yeah, but he need more than just, that's what I'm saying, we need more than just 1. He got, what, 100 and something units over here?
So whenever I request any type of assistance, we send them assistance, whenever he requests any assistance.
I haven't seen that, I'm telling you the truth, I haven't seen it. And now that Mike has been taking over, they didn't fire everybody to clean up the grounds. It used to be the residents, the young ladies they paid, would get a stipend to. And they didn't fire them, so now Ed is trying to do some of Michael's work that he's not qualified to do. And they're trying to use him, he's the maintenance guy, he's the manager, when Nicole got to run everywhere, but she's only 1 person. So that's what I'm saying, so we need like at least another guy, we need at least another guy over here.
So if I just sort of add additional details to that. So with HUD properties, it's not a requirement, but it's more of a standard, is that there's one maintenance repair for every 75 to 100 units.
Hey, what?
That's not my number. It's a HUD average.
Let's say.
That's why I don't have nobody, that's all the other
That's all.
That's almost three. So four people, four maintenance guys.
Let's see.
There you go. Who you got?
All right.
I mean, he just sick, we have nobody to take no one.
So with that last piece of the personnel update, we are trying to add capacity, trying to bring it up to 20. We also do have our existing contract with Local 55, and they do supply additional skilled labor. Primarily they're doing the vacant units. But they, again, if there's a job that comes up and David needs additional hands on, he's able to maneuver people to kind of get the job done in a reasonable time.
All right, so example time. Zach, my question to you, what's the total number of maintenance people you need for you to have a full capacity of maintenance to be able to cover all the garbage to say, yeah, okay, we got right now you say you need 5 more, what's the total number? 30, what is it? Like that?
Total capacity of maintenance to have the full staff that we're trying to build will be anywhere between 28 to 33.
28 to 20.
28 to 33.
Okay. Okay. So my other question, Local 55, how many of those people do we have down here right now? Do you know the numbers?
Total right now, we have 4.
That's cool, that's little. All right, the reason why I'm asking this question, you have from the Resident Services summer report, you have 20 family members are leaving the hotel. Right? And on here, you have hot water issues, hot water and heat issue, and also you have more issue. Are we ready for these? There's 24 people that live in the hotel. Are their apartments ready with no mold, hot waters, everything's functioning right? That coming from the hotel?
I would have to see that list and what exact numbers, units they are, but most units that.
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so what do we know? What's the number of these? How many people have in the hotel coming back? Do we know the numbers?
So really, Mr. Young's question, I don't have that information here with me tonight. I don't want to represent the wrong number.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm asking, because sometimes we have some of these numbers, it's just kind of like throw me off, because like, okay, we have these people coming back. Right, if you're ready, for example, I'll put myself there. Before I came to this meeting, I texted my wife, I asked her, is the hot water, because we had to get out of the hotel. I'm asking her, is the hot waters functioning or whatever?
No, I used 3 pots this morning to wash myself, 3 pots, ain't no hot water.
So, the reason why I'm asking, y'all asking for these residents to come back home, but if the hot waters and the heat, I understand the heat, we have the heat panels, but when it comes to taking the showers, like,
Madam Chair, if I may, Madam Chair, point of order.
For those people that are coming back with the hot water issues.
As discussed on the phone last night, Mr. Davis and his maintenance crew went out today to double check on that. And the hot water is up. In terms of the specific degree of the
Atlantic City Expressway West.
It's not. What most individuals are used to as standard, when the boilers are at max capacity, there's no breaks in the line. They're averaging anywhere between 130 to 135 and hot water
Take a
temperature.
slight left turn.
Right now, with the breaks in the line and the system going around the
For
loop,
about 37 miles, continue straight.
80 to anywhere between 80 to 98 degrees. So the temperature is more so lukewarm. On a day when everybody's using the water, like first thing in the morning where we get a lot of our complaints when everybody's getting ready for work, we're usually somewhere on the end of the loop, which is usually the back part of the third. We're somewhere in the range of 76 to 80 degrees.
So what's the temperature for federal rule? What's the temperature?
So there's not a federal bylaw on the low end of it. It's more so on the high. You don't want, your high, say kind of actually go for your temperature is 120, but since we're already on a loop in a boiler system, our boilers are old. Ours usually ranges around 130. So everybody's used to a very, very high gauge hot water temperature that when the boiler system is not operational the perfect way, it doesn't produce that. So when we'll go to somebody's house and it'll be 98 degrees, we'll gun it right in front of them and show them, but then they'll tell me that's not hot enough for you to take a shower.
Because it feel like a sprinkler. You've been through that. It feel like
So-
you're in the
so
fire
it
hydrant
feels like it's
sprinkler.
not as hot as they're used to.
That's why you got cold water, so you can mix with the hot water to make it warm. But that's the same problem I had when I got on Zoom to tell you I didn't have no hot water when I first moved over the bus. They tell you, they come with that little meter, test it, is not hot. I don't care what that thing say, cause if you can stand underneath it and it don't burn you at all, you don't have no hot water. Hot water is for when you got to add the cold water to make it to the temperature you want it. And by law, we're supposed to have hot and cold, not lukewarm. Cause just like the Bible said, it spew you out of his mouth. Yeah. When you're lukewarm, God says that. So we want hot water.
So this comes back to what what was presented a little while ago. In the past 3 years, we're approaching $7 million that's been spent, and we're still experiencing a lot of issues. It's been a rough winter. I will say that, and we're thankful that we're coming out of the heating season. I will say our maintenance department, our contractors have been extremely responsive.
Y'all thankful.
What I'm saying is that thankful.
Your out-of-line public comment is over. We can't speak right now.
I'm expressing
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Dorsey.
Yeah, I have a couple issues with this conversation. Number one, we're delving way too deep in matters that are already under litigation. Number two, we're commissioners and we're here to speak as commissioners, and we're listening to the secretary's report. It's not interrogation of the secretary, it's his report, and we're to listen to this report and let him tell us what's going on. Not
You can say that because you're not a resident.
take a caveat. I have the floor.
Yeah, but you're not a resident.
There is a decorum and there are rules and regulations.
But we residents, we live here. Me and
Madam
Eli
Chair.
and the rest of the residents.
There are rules and regulations, and when I'm speaking, there's a decorum. And we are to be here as professionals and be courteous and follow the rules and regulations and not be ignorant and speaking when other people are speaking and speaking over them.
You've been disrespectful.
Wait a minute, man. You will not speak.
I'd like to hear the secretary's report. I'd like to hear the secretary's report.
I want to respond. I just want to respond to Dorsey. Dorsey, I hope you listening well. I hope you got your volume up loud and everything.
I'm listening.
First of all, when the ED make his report, we here to ask the ED questions. This is our job. All right, we're not just going to sit here and listen to everything he said. You might not be getting affected by it, but I got 2 little kids in my house. All right, I'm a parent first before I'm a commissioner. I don't know if you got that right. So when you saying that, I'm taking a huge offense to that.
Yes.
All right, you're not in my apartment where my kids got to wear the jacket and all the time with that space you got in there. So don't tell me that we saying all this different stuff, people being ignorant. That's real disrespectful. We respect you when you talk. You got to respect other people's opinion as well. All right? My wife gets home. I came from work. I ran over here. I'm not getting paid for this. Okay? So if my wife telling me the water's not warm for her to take a shower or bathe my kid, I got an issue with it. And they asked me to leave the hotel. So don't come tell me being ignorant. Oh, we got to listen to what the ED is saying. Because you got people with more in the apartment. Is the apartment ready for them to move back in there? So we got to ask them to give her an answer. So don't come and tell people to be ignorant, or we got to live with whatever the ED is telling us. That really pissed me off. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm glad you're not in my face because it would have been a problem.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, Jackson, don't other communications. Yeah, I know, right? Any, okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. Okay,
So,
Okay, Madam Chair?
forward.
all right. moving on. Quarterly reports, Ava, anything to report? All right. Number 8, other business and communications.
Other than what I have, I don't hear anything about.
Oh, yeah, these are the other business and communication. There is none. So we can move forward with the calling out a resolution.
All right, item 9, draft resolution. This evening we have 3 on the agenda. These are resolutions. Michelle, these are resolutions 9764 through 9766. The first of which, resolution 9764, is a resolution authorizing the charge-off of tenants' accounts receivable that are uncollectible for the fiscal year ending April 25th, 2024, for AMPS 0000001, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. May I have a motion and second?
Motion.
Thank you. Second by Will, thank you. That's open for discussion.
Which one are we doing?
Oh, this is number 64.
All right. So I don't know, Tom, but I'm looking at these numbers on here. These is like, it's like crazy numbers. I don't know. You got people on here, someone that was paying the rent was, well, 50, 100, 200. You got somebody owing rent for $23,000, $415. And this is, that flat rent was 1,035. So that's like, the person never paid their rent for almost 2 years. So I don't know, like, what are we doing? Like, this money is huge. That we just waving it off, and how far back to this go? And what do we get? The fiscal year, so that's just for what, 2023? So what is our property managers doing? What is the managers doing to work with the residents for us to try to bring these numbers down? Because I was just looking back on some of the previous years. In 2023, it was 200 in 2000, and 2022 was 100. Like the numbers just added up. It's just the numbers just added up for the last 3 years. If you look on here, the last 3 years, the figure is crazy. So what are we doing to work with the residents to figure out how to?
So I won't talk over, but I'm gonna first comment on, because I only came here in May of 2023. I can comment on what I was seeing firsthand. Early on, in the process of COVID, there was an eviction moratorium. It's not specific to Atlantic City. When I was in Asbury Park, it was the same thing. TAR skyrocketed. There were channels of assistance financially that were extended by the state, by the counties, in the form of emergency rental assistance program or ERAP. Again, during that moratorium, there were a lot of balances that skyrocketed. There were individuals that, and this number represents is unpaid rents for residents that no longer reside in properties, either by way of eviction, skip, or unfortunately, became deceased while resident. So these are uncollectible amounts that are charged off at year end as a bad debt expense. So, a larger conversation, in terms of the 3-year average, this year's amount is pretty much on par, which is, I'm not saying that's a good thing. But the process that's followed is if a resident is late on their rent, which means there's no payment made after the 5th of the month, there's 14-day notice. Right? That 14-day notice saying this is what is owed, this is what needs to be paid. Residents are also offered repayment agreements. So, if there's a large balance and the resident has the wherewithal to do so, the site manager has the option of entering into a repayment agreement that could be, say, $50 a month over the course of X number of months to be able to close that balance out. The entire idea of affordable housing is that regardless of what someone makes, that their rent is roughly 30% of that income. Ensuring that there is a wherewithal to pay that. Residents also have the option if they, have a reduction in income, lose their job, advise their property manager, I don't have money coming in right now, and they can make interim adjustment to adjust that rent, which maintains the wherewithal to actually cover the rent. Sometimes the court process takes a bit longer for certain cases than others. During which time, if the rent is still not being paid, that amount continues to balloon. So there is no, one size fits all response I can give you. There's a lot of individual situations that lead to this.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, if you calculate somebody's rent, it seems like some people didn't pay their rent for a whole year. Right? If you look at the numbers on that, what I'm reading, you see the rent numbers, how much they're supposed to be paying for rent. The monthly rent, like for example, somebody's monthly rent was $160, or $2,000. So if you times 160 by 12, so that means that person having paid the rent like for all 8, 9, 10, 12 months. What is our managers doing to try to work with them if they lost their job? How long would it take to come in the office and say, listen, I lost my job. I was in that situation before. My grandma was at $50 at one point when I was single. You go to the office, you talk to them, they can drop it and work something with you. So I'm saying, like, if you add these numbers times 12, so how much the balance they owe, it's like they didn't pay rent for a whole year. So can we put something in place where if somebody hasn't paid a rent for like 4 months or something, like invite them, have a conversation, like something, because I was writing this off every year. The amount is crazy.
So that presently is the system.
He took to court because he wanted him out of their house, his house, because they're doing stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing. Thank you. The court case lasted almost a year. This tenant did not pay rent for the whole year. When he was evicted, he still owed money, which is probably what you're saying.
And I'll just, if I may, I'll just add to that, obviously during COVID, there was a long period of time where, as the director said, we were not able to bring eviction cases at all. And then once the courts started up again, they had a backlog of a lot of landlords filing eviction cases that hadn't been filed for over a year, which completely backlogged the courts. So the amount of time that it used to take us to get into court on eviction cases used to be a matter of weeks. Now it's a matter of months. And then, yes, eviction cases there's new procedures that were put in place that didn't used to be there. So the eviction cases themselves last a lot longer now. And yes, if it's someone that it doesn't stay, you don't work out a repayment agreement with them, and they end up being evicted, then yes, they're not going to pay you anything. They're going to leave that debt. And I do know that all housing authorities do this. All housing authorities do have these write-offs annually for the tenants that are gone, leaving, these balances due. So I just wanted to bring that perspective.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree with everything you're saying. I know, like I said, during COVID time, because when I called Cherry last night, she said maybe some of the reason why it's high during COVID. But like we're going back since 2022. We're in 2024. So I'm just saying we need to try to put something in place. If some of these residents are struggling, something's going on. Let's have them, that's where residential services come in, try to meet with them. Let's have some type of dialogue going to work, because every year it's just a crisis.
It's COVID, a lot of people do.
No, but these numbers not COVID numbers. That's
No,
what
I
I'm
understand
saying.
that, I'm just saying, the residents.
Let's just put something in place where we can work with our residents and stuff. I know things are hard, everything prices up, but just for us to be able to work something with the resident, it would really help. That's all.
And, there's always an opportunity to be better and improve our services. I just want to highlight the fact that that has already been taking place, and that is also factored into where we are right now.
No problem. Thank you.
Again, we do make referrals. There are organizations that are out there that will help with a one-time payment to bring the balance down. Again, state did administer a lot of funds to provide emergency payments. And unfortunately, we're still in that same position. But I assure you that our property managers and our resident services department are extending every bit of assistance that they possibly can.
What do they do before they bring them to eviction, like the court?
Well, again, there's a notice process that takes place to say, hey, there is a balance, it's late. That's meant to strike up a conversation, not a threat, it's just saying, hey, this is the situation. Before it gets to court, again, our site managers are expected to talk and meet with the residents, explain the situation. And again, they have channels such as repayment agreements to offer up. You can offer up everything if someone doesn't accept it.
Yeah. Commissioners on Zoom, any questions?
Hello, no, I don't have any
Commissioner
questions on this. No, not at all. Chair, I don't have any specific questions. I just want to, I could repeat that we need to make sure that we don't discuss personnel or staffing or mention staffing, things of that nature. Some of these things are, delicate areas that could involve litigation or do involve litigation. So questions that we have sometimes are for executive meeting, and, we as commissioners have to be a little more delicate and careful how we speak in the public forum.
Okay, thank you. I have 2 questions. I just want to be sure none of these are current residents. They're all former residents.
Right, so I'll just point to the board's attention in the supporting documentation. The 4th column for all the lists is the heading of the column is active, and if you look below that, for each and every one of these names, no, which means it's not a resident that currently resides.
Okay. Commissioner Wills? No, okay. Could you email us the current copy of our policy? Melissa, can you take a look at the current policy just to make sure that it is up to date on rent?
In terms of rent collection?
Yes. All right, thank you. Oh, yes, the email, yes, it is. Yes. Okay. Seeing no other questions?
All right, resolution 9764 is ready for a vote. Commissioner Dorsey. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Gabay.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
And Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
That has passed 6 in favor, none opposed. Next is resolution 9765, which is a resolution approving and authorizing the posting of the updated admissions and continued occupancy policy. If that policy, policy documents, road policy, and tenancy leases for public comment. May I have a motion and second?
Motion.
Take that as a second.
Second.
It's open for discussion.
I would discuss, what is the weight of the pets and what type of pets? Like dogs?
Okay, I'm gonna ask Melissa to answer that, and Melissa, could you briefly discuss this policy, please?
Sure. Pet policy obviously gives you your rules as to, as you said, what type of pets, how many pets, what the procedures are. If someone's gonna have a pet, they do have to apply for that, get permission for it, make sure that the pet is up to date on any veterinary requirements, make sure the pet abides basically good behavior, and things like that. So it gives you all of these requirements. In terms of the specifics on what pets, that is in the policy. So it says no resident shall have more than 1 pet. In the case of fish and turtles, a 20-gallon tank or aquarium will be counted as 1 pet. In the case of rabbits, rodents, and birds, a cage that is 3 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet will be counted as 1 pet. So on the size of pets,
it says that, no resident shall have a pet whose adult weight will exceed 25 pounds.
What about the Rottweilers and all the types of dogs?
It's not, there's no prohibition on a type of dog. So it just has to do with the size requirements.
So the flat rent situation, so I see the number one up, right? I think our flat rent right now for a 2-bedroom at 1035. Ms. Brock? Our flat rent for a 2-bedroom, it used to be 1035, right?
So the rents, so on the flat rent policy, that's been changed because HUD created a rule saying that there was a certain minimum that your flat rents had to be at least 80% of the HUD fair market rent for that unit size. So they cannot be, this is the minimum, they cannot be lower than this. And you're also required now, once a year, we're gonna have to go and see if HUD has raised the fair market rents, then we'll have to increase the flat rents. If HUD doesn't raise the fair market rent, we don't have to increase the flat rents. But now HUD set this as a hard minimum that it cannot be below 80%.
I have a problem with the smoking-free policy because that have not been enforced with the units or the residents. And what I mean by that, especially where I live, the marijuana is so strong, and how they made the vents now from where Busby used to have vents where we couldn't smell what you're cooking and smell what you're smoking, but now we can. It's very strong, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it does say it's smoke-free, but now I have to use an inhaler because of the smoke that came through my apartment, and now I have messed with my lungs, and now I'm trying to find out. I spoke to it about the chair, I brought it to the board, I brought it to the manager, Nicole, and it's not medical marijuana, it's street marijuana.
As a general measure, anytime residents are seeing violations of the smoke-free policy, they should report that to their management office so that the management office can take action on it. Obviously, it's important that it be reported with as much specifics as possible so that the management office can enforce the policy.
And I wanted them to like actually move me or move them.
Commissioner Hall, if you have any questions tied to the policy, Melissa,
So now what I plan on doing, because I did tell the manager, I did tell the
Commissioner Hall, that's a personal issue. Any questions you have for Melissa?
Yes,
about the policy?
They're supposed to be enforced, so who enforces the policy? Nobody has, that's what I'm trying to say, nobody has.
Well, I can't speak to what's happened with your particular situation in the past, and this wouldn't be a forum for a particular situation for you, that should be discussed directly with management in private, not in a public session. So I'm here to talk about, obviously, we updated your policy, we're implementing it, and we do intend for it to be enforced. We do need the residents' cooperation in enforcing that to report it so that the management can take action on it. But I would just recommend that in terms of any of your personal situation that you deal directly with management on that.
Tom, are we, I hope like for the flat rents and the rent increase, we, if we can have some type of section with the residents to just kind of inform them, get them update on it, so it won't be like a surprise or something, that's where, sorry. The residents association, they can work together, set up a meeting, something where you guys can come together.
So there's a process in terms of implementing these policies. We're at the first step in the process here. This resolution talks about you approving them to be posted for notice and comment. So for the next 30 days, it's the notice and comment period. We will be advising the residents that these policies are available for review and that they can submit their comments. That's a 30-day notice and comment period. There's also going to be a public hearing process. So there's also going to be communication with any resident councils. So we're at the beginning of a process that will solicit input from the residents and make them aware. Much of what you're seeing in these policies is federally required, but obviously input is invited. But also, as to your point, it will let everyone know that this is happening and that these policies are going into place so that they are aware.
Thank you.
And we also encourage our commissioners to also go through, and if you have any questions, everyone has my contact info, and we have discussions along the way. And just, to clarify, we're not adopting these policies tonight.
No, we're not adopting it, we're just supposed to.
And there was an updated one in our place of.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Melissa.
Chairwoman, Commissioner Dorsey has a hand raised.
Okay, Commissioner Dorsey?
Yeah, I had a question about the pet policy. Melissa, sorry, my GPS is talking. My question was, is this a policy that's drafted by us, or is it something we're adopting that's a HUD standard? And I asked that question because the pet policy on weight, I would think if we can edit that, then maybe we need to add verbiage that specifically details that the weight pertains to the expected adult size of the dog, so that the tenant doesn't go, oh, my dog's only 12 pounds now, when it's a dog that should grow to 80. You know what I'm saying? That's a concern I have.
It currently says that, correct?
I thought it did.
It does. Commissioner Dorsey, I'm not sure if you're here, Commissioner Dorsey, the draft policy currently does state that in the verbiage.
Right, it does say a pet whose adult weight will exceed 25 pounds. So that's what's already, so yes, if you get a puppy that's 25 pounds that's going to grow, that's not gonna be approved. Because obviously the puppy's going to get larger than that as they grow into adulthood.
Right, from left to.
Thank you.
left on-
Okay, you can call the vote. Commissioner Dorsey, you can lower your hand.
Yes.
Ready for a roll call vote on resolution 9765. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Duday.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
That has passed, 6 in favor, none opposed. Our final resolution, resolution 9766, a resolution approving the attached pre-check rating report and disbursements of bills thereof. May I have a motion and second? Motion, Commissioner Day.
Second, I will.
Thank you. That is open for discussion.
Any questions, commissioners?
I just want to abstain from the part with, Mr. Jerry Gold.
His bill is 0.
Zero.
You still want to abstain?
I thought he was still, okay, as long as he's zero.
There is no payment for that vendor. There's no payment for that vendor on some deals.
Any other questions, comments? We can call the vote.
All right, roll call vote on resolution 9766. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Duday.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
That's passed. 6 in favor, none opposed. Chair, I understand we have a need for a closed session.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
Full time report?
Yeah, so we got the session.
Okay. Is it a public matter? You can probably answer.
All right, so Tom, Zeb and Tom, this is a question for you guys. I know like in the past, like for like we had, what's it called, we have somebody, we have a date where when a resident move out to paint the apartment to get it ready, we have something out there, a contract, but I'm just finding out that we don't have a contract or a painting company. Yeah, so why is that? I think because the reason why I'm asking this question is, first, we don't have enough maintenance people, that's one. Two, we're trying to turn some of these units over for people to move in and stuff. And if we don't have enough maintenance people, it take a while for somebody to just go to paint a whole department. So I think it would be a good idea if we can try to put something out there to try to get a picking company to take care of it, and also for I think we got a carpenter contract out there, right? What some of the work are they doing? Are they the one changing like the cabinets? What's some of the job are they doing with the contract that we have out for the carpenter?
I do know that we've assigned some work to that contractor. What specific jobs, again, I don't have that information with me tonight, but yes, cabinet replacement is within the scope of that contract. Anything carpentry related, which cabinets are, a qualifying job. With regard to the painting, as we discussed, local 55 and some of our maintenance crews, for some of the lighter units, we have our maintenance employees by site turning over units. Primarily local 55 is dealing with painting as spackling and painting, finish work as part of their unit turnover process.
The local 55 you're talking, so we have 4 people. We have a whole bunch of units.
At present.
Yeah, at present. But we have a whole lot of units that need to be turned over. We don't have the manpower. I feel like we moving real slow when it comes to turning the units over. I think, it's a suggestion to the chair for us to go out there and try to get a contract for our cleaning. So be responsible just because that's where it used to be back in, Ms. Bright, I don't know if I'm wrong, we had a painting contractor that would just focus on going in there and do the paint job and things would turn over fast. Local 55, we asked you guys, I asked you personally, that we need to double up that number. The unit, we're trying to move people into different sites and different things. And the units are not being turned over. And I feel like, we're moving way too slow. So, Chair, we need to do something because our residents coming back in the hotel, they have some problem. We have other site units that need to be done, fixed. And some of these things are not getting done because we just don't have enough manpower. So we need to do something. I'm asking for us to try to put something in the work to get more a local 55 people to come and help our maintenance guys so that way the maintenance guy can take care of all the little stuff. Right now, we don't have a contractor for it, like the lawn. You drove past standing, we see the grass is getting long and everything, landscaping. So our maintenance guy, we overstretched them. They're working way too hard. We could go out there and try to get more local 55 people. And also, I'm suggesting if we should try to get a resolution out there for a painting company to come and take over our property to that way we'll take the work off Zeb and his team because he don't have enough staff right now. So, hopefully we can try to think about stuff like that. I thought we had more local 55 people. Finding out tonight we only have 4. That's crazy to me. The amount of all the problem issues that we have, we only have 4 presidents. That's just wrong. We gotta take these residents very serious. The problem, the issues, it getting to the point we've been here for so long. We have the same issue, same problem, units not being turned over. I don't know how long how long that a unit supposed to take to be turned over is that?
Should be 14 days.
Huh?
Should be 14 days, people.
Okay, 14 days.
As long as it's an average term, it should be about 14 days.
I'm going back into the report that Zab, I guess Ms. Broxton put together with you too as well. If you see some of these units that you guys is gonna get ready, some of them take like 2-3 months to get ready. Some of them is y'all saying that they're gonna be ready in July. Some of the units gonna be ready in June. So if it takes 14 days and we don't have enough people to come and turn the unit over, we need to try to work something with that. 2 months, that's crazy to turn the unit over. So time out really want, for us to get more local 55 people come in and help. Those 2 months now to turn the unit over, that's way too long. So that's what
So just one dynamic that's part of that local 55 contract that was agreed to in August, September, is that, local 55 does not provide us with permanent employees and that they do need to cycle out after a certain period of time. So the numbers will come up, go down, come back up, go back down. But, we do have the ability to add on board if the volume increases if we need.
we need it. It's not if we need it, we need it because like I said, sure, I went through all the vacant units that we have. If you look at the vacant units that we have in our property, it's crazy.
It's a lot of issues, and Tom, also you sent out a letter to her that say that in 5 months time, we're gonna get 100 units turned over. With the amount of employees that we have, I don't think that's possible. So we gotta just figure something to try to get, with these numbers, the vacancy units on this paper, I'm looking at all the units that occupied, not occupied, it's a lot.
And that's precisely why we're bringing on 5 more maintenance employees, and then again, we are increasing the number of local 55.
So if you said we increased the number to 55, how many numbers are we talking about? I don't
Well,
know.
it's, like Tom was saying, they get recycled in and out. They can't stay on payroll, for so long. But we went out to bid for painting. Do we need to do that again?
I don't think we ever went out.
Yeah, we did, and we rescinded the resolution in January and February. We rescinded that resolution because of the union that we brought on board.
Did we vote on it?
Yeah, we voted on that. Mhm.
So a lot of the issue is not staffing at all, really. It's not about the amount of staff. More staff will always do better. But the issue we're running into right now was material lists that we're putting together. That's what we had to first get together. Second, it's now that we're finding, and we had an issue today, but now that we're finding this stuff, a lot of tools have walked off. We used to have 7 sprayers for the painters for our guys to paint. We got 1. You know what I mean? I just put in an order for another one. So there's a lot of stuff that is just, it's not just staff itself. It's a lot of different things. You got a lot of contractors, like you were saying, bring contractors, a lot of different contractors when units can use different material that we don't have. So now we have to find out which material came from to rebuild the things that we're trying to rebuild. And then the places that we're going to don't have the material. So it's a lot right now.
Instead of places we go into.
The places we're going to right now do not have that material. They either have discontinued the material because the material is so old. A lot of the flooring that you see in our units, we've been grabbing the same flooring for 23 years. They don't make them no more. They don't make that color. So you go into a unit, yeah, it helps us in a way with REACT saying that we don't have to be unison. So you might have some different tiles or different colors just to fix the broken tiles in people's floors. So it's a lot of different things. We're trying to put it together and just get one package so we can have all the material on a consistent basis. Like, we gotta think about it. You just talked about cabinets. We're going through HD now for cabinets because the rep we used to have doesn't have the cabinets that we carry. Our cabinets are ancient if you go in some of these places. So it's like you're remodeling something from 1960 on a continuous basis, trying to make it modern. It's a hard thing to do. So it's not just staff. It's more staff would do, but it's just trying to get a way to where we can get all these units and can go through them in a way and have all the material to move.
So what's holding us from getting those materials that you're talking about?
So right now, that's what we're working on. We've secured the HD contract. So a lot of our materials have come in, but then, with Home Depot being the subsidiary, if I'm correct, of HD HD is the other way around. HD is subsidiary of Home Depot. And we're trying to make sure they have the same documents in order so we can buy from Home Depot, because now what you have is HD saying a lot of the products we used to carry, we'll just let Home Depot carry. But we don't have a contract with Home Depot to pick them up, so now we have to try to find a way to work that out. And then that's going about getting 3 quotes, which is a difficult process, but.
So then, when you saying it comes back to the board to try to figure out something for us to do to be able to get stuff.
But I will definitely say, doing what got us in this situation is not going to always just work. Throwing a lot of contractors at it, because then again, we're chasing different parts and different specs that contractors use, and now we got to find that. Then when it goes bad, they kind of replace it. That's the situation we're going to now. You're going to some units and nobody knew because it wasn't a good handle of the contractors, but they could have went her unit and the contractor did exactly what she wanted. So now we walk in, it doesn't even look like a stealing unit. So now, how do we find and replace those pieces when they go bad, or those parts when they go bad? We can't. We don't know what they use, so it's.
Well, I'm glad you're speaking up, because this is some of the stuff some of us don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what we need to communicate, so we're all on the same page. If you're not getting the material, you're not getting stuff. I always tell you guys, I tell Tom, the board is here to support you guys. We want you guys to succeed, because when you succeed, the resident benefit. If you don't succeed, the resident suffering. And the resident been suffering for a long time.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that let's all try to put our hands together and try to move a little bit faster. Stuff that you need, if it's not getting, bring it to him, he'll bring it to the board so we can figure out a way to get those things to supply. We shouldn't be sitting here all this money. We spent almost $500,000 to the hotel just to get people staying over there. That's crazy. We can use that money on other stuff to get more material for y'all. So that's the communication that we really need to, we gotta try to focus. Y'all gotta communicate better.
somebody gotta go over there, start looking at these things, and checking and coming back to us and bringing us the accurate stuff so we can vote on this thing or to get the help that you need. Because I feel like sometimes we just talk, we're not getting stuff done, and the residents suffering. I'm sorry I sound a little bit upset tonight, I'm passionate, my kids been suffering for too long. And for another commissioner to say some crazy stuff like that, I have a serious problem with that.
Okay.
All right.
Let's ask one more question. Even though you can't find an overflowing, what's wrong with putting down something else, even if you can't find the overflowing because it's been since 1960?
So that's what we're doing.
They should have been done over, so that's what I'm saying.
That's what we're doing. But like you said, what he's saying, if we come to your unit and you go to their floor, and you're saying, hey, you want a unit, they'll rip up the whole house. So now where are you at? You're misplaced, you're back in a hotel. So it's a catch-22.
Okay, moving on to the agenda.
Back to the agenda, we have the need for an executive session this evening. That would be to discuss that would be an executive session to discuss matters of litigation, potential litigation, and contract related attorney-client advice. It is not anticipated that there's a possibility that action will be taken upon our return to the open session. Okay, I have a motion to go into closed session, and this will be resolution 9767.
Motion.
Second by Commissioner Will. Roll call vote, Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Enthusiastic yes, Commissioner Dorsey. Commissioner Gudet.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
And Chairwoman Moore.
Yes.
Every estimate is guaranteed to be wrong, but I would say 20 to 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Closed session.
By the way, that resolution did pass 60 days. A reminder to our members of the public who are here in person, we ask you to please go downstairs. For those who are participating on Zoom, the commissioners will remain on Zoom. Others will be shut down.
The only people left is us, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Dorsey, and Matt Freeman. I just want to keep on Freeman.
No, this is closed session.
Or Dad, can I just get a burrito or something?
Yes. Yes, it's me.
So everybody's in the weight room? Okay.
Everyone left, except Olga.
Oh,
I put
okay.
them in the weight room and they all left, so they might be coming back. But this is the joy.
Okay, can he unmute himself? Okay.
Yes, I can.
We're going to closed session now.
Come on, James, I have to be.
We let Joe stay on Zoom or?
I know. Oh, we have one left.
Can't go forward with that. There we go. All right, so can the people on Zoom hear us?
Yes,
All right, so we have Joe, Commissioner Dorsey, Commissioner Johnson, and is that it? That's it.
Hey, Joe.
how are you?
Doing great.
So let us.
Good to see everybody.
Let us not make liars of ourselves when we said it would be 30 minutes.
Okay.
The three items that we have to make in proposed order of consideration. There's one item of contract which specifically relates to the contract with the 360 group. Here to speak on that is Mike Brown, ably assisted by Jackson Moore, or perhaps not. And we have a matter of litigation, which is just a quick update from me on the Stanley Homes litigation. Because there was some coverage in the media, you probably saw in the past couple of days from our session with Judge Portel on Monday. I did not read what was in the press, but I'm guessing it wasn't 100% accurate. And finally, we have, time permitting, and the will of commissioners permitting, a little further discussion about the matter that Mr. Mays brought up during the public session. So, first up, Mike Brown.
Great, Mike Brown here. Thank you for having me, commissioners. For those that don't know me, I'm the president of the 360 group. So the 360 group was brought here when the emergency first came around from John Clark and back in the UPA, Jerry Pulte was here. And our task was to basically find out what was going on at Stanley Village and give an assessment. So we were here for 8 weeks, and in 8 weeks, we really saw what the major issues are. And I feel like it's important that I explain how dire the conditions are. I put a report on about the conditions at Stanley, and the main issue was, what I saw at the time, is that you have systems that should have been replaced decades ago. We analyzed your heating system, immediately said, doesn't matter if you change your boilers, your pipes will break. And we gave the super horrible dire report on the consequences of what would happen this heating season, which we got lucked out that it wasn't, we didn't have a lot of cold blues. I'm a mechanical engineer, I have an MBA, I run a multi-million-dollar construction company. I do not need to be here. But once I came here, I decided not to leave to the point that when the emergency ended, I stayed here to the point of $250,000 that I gave in services pro bono to the housing authority, which I said I wouldn't bill them more than $1. And then my point was to catch anyone that was defrauding the housing authority. The issue you guys have is oversight over all of your contractors and your processes. God bless this man here, because he's one man. You have no capital group. You have no in-house engineer. You have no procurement specialist. None of that. The cost of that would be astronomical, as you're starting to see. If you can even hire people, you're looking for a modernization expert. You're looking for a procurement person. You're looking for, you can't buy cabinets, right? There are companies like our company that can do that and help you do it. We do it every day, all day. So my contract, as I see what the issues are going to be going forward, is that I don't want, and I will say this, if this isn't the right answer, I don't want you to read my contract, right? I don't want to see you take a little bitty capital budget that you have and continue just fixing little things at a time, right? This is $150 million spent, minimum. And that's not even counting Stanley, right? Your A&E contract, I walked the A&E firms through that contract, through the whole walking, and I got to see everything at all the other villages, all the other properties, whether it was JPW. And what needs to happen is in conjunction with what Tom's doing, is we have to put real plans. And what I mean by plans, and I'm gonna throw some MBA terms here, which smart plans, smart objectives. That means they're very specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relative to what you're trying to do, and there's some kind of timeline to it. When Rick and I went to go talk to the judge, that's exactly what we did. The problem is, you didn't have an A&E firm, you didn't have a capital plan, you didn't even barely had an executive director at the time, didn't have a QPA. And the plan that we gave the judge was not realistic or achievable, right? So our group will come in here for 6-7 months or a year, right? We will throw every resource that we have at solving all these issues that coincide with what Tom's trying to do. When I hear what you guys are going through with buying cabinets and flooring, we don't have problems with that, right? We will direct the A&E firm to generate a specification for what materials we're gonna use. We're not gonna let the maintenance group, poor guys, go out there and try to figure it out. These 3 cabinets, these 3 floors, these 3 colors, these 3 windows, these 3 blinds, that's it. And someone's gonna be on the phone calling and making sure that we're getting them from somewhere, that you can procure. And we'll set the procurement agreements. So I did a lot of FEMA. What do you think? The FEMA, we don't have power. Hurricane Maria, there's no power. We need barges to bring things. Yet, $178 billion worth of repairs. Here, we're in Atlantic City, right next to Philadelphia, not too far from New York, and one of the second heaviest populated states in our union. There's no reason why we should be picking up the phone, seeing what materials lists are. He came from General Dynamics. He definitely does not need to be here. We lose money every day that he's here. General Dynamics inventory control. We managed the COVID relief process and kept the state of Pennsylvania running during COVID and the elections, because of the databases that we built to make sure that people were safe and didn't lose any state senators or congressmen in the process once they brought us on board. We put in place a $250,000 asset management system that can help track these contractors in conjunction with the system that you use. You have your internal system, we have a system that you don't open up, but we can open up to issue the work orders out. So what I'm saying with our contract, which we were awarded and then it was knocked down, is that the value of the contract you will get back in the fact that we will not have a lot of the issues with overspend, right? A lot of things that you guys don't understand is when I stayed here is because the contractor overcharged you by $1.7 million, at least. And we went and tracked every dime in that bank. And hopefully we get restitution through what is an investigation, right? But how are we able to ensure that the contractors and even the A&E firm going forward is because we set the standards here. We don't let Kisby go on site and come back to us and tell us that he has no hot water, and we'll get to it when we get to it. We send a construction manager, a PM, we train a maintenance person if we have to go out there and say, give us the scope of work. I don't know if you guys know this, but same thing, whether it was E-Justice, whether it was Action One, whatever the name of the company is. When I was here during the emergency, and Ms. Brock can tell you, because I was at Stanley most of the time, we set forth what the standards were for how things were built, specifically around the heating and the gas. So when E-Justice says, oh, we did a great job, and then next thing you know, we have leaks everywhere. Because we set a set of plans and specifications, we could identify where they didn't do the work. And we found that there were 3 entire buildings that they didn't do. There were 11 buildings that they did that were not authorized. And they were paid for all of them. Because it's who does Tom have in his department to go do quality control and see the more complicated system? You can see if a cabinet was put in, but how do you see if Kisby really put that pipe underground the way they were supposed to? Right? You can get the A&E firm to go commission it later on, right? But we have to have people in-house that can do that. If not, we're gonna pay an engineering firm $200 an hour. The Kisby thing, when I was out there leading, helping take pictures for the investigation around the contractor fraud, what I found was that there was a sanitary pipe break to the tune of 4,800 gallons. And between ServPro and Kisby, they just punted the work back and forth. Like one would say, oh, I can't go down there because you gotta pump the work. Well, I can't pump the work until you go down and fix the fitting. That's like 6 weeks worth of work. That if I was there, I would have said, okay, here's the phasing. You got 1 week. You get it done, right? We have 6 months while this heating system, we're back where we were last year, where this is what I was saying, where we are now, at least now you guys have felt the wrath of what it is, and you have at least an executive director, not an interim one. You have 6 months to figure this out. I'm gonna say that again. The difference now is you gotta come back at it. I'll say this, you gotta come back at HUD. You gotta come back at HUD with that smart proposal back to them and say, you want all of this fixed. He's got $15 million. He can't even begin to fix this for $15 million. He might be able to put some Band-Aids till he gets to the next year, and another $15 million, right? When we run businesses, if I know I'm trying to grow my business, I go get the funding up front. If I know what's in front of me, then I have the people in place and then I can go do the work. He's trying to do the work while he's getting little scraps here and there. So then he can't do the work that he wants to do. So my vision for Atlantic City is cranes, that we come in here, $150 million capital plan. You go to Trenton, you go to Newark, you go to other states if we have to see how they did it there. Because trust me, Pennsylvania, Philly, where I do a lot of PHA work, there's a lot of money that goes in to do capital plans. We do a capital plan here, you all win. You continue down this path of Band-Aids, and you'll be in this paper, and you'll have Andrew and everybody else taking a shot at you. When the reality of it, it's the government not giving you the resources that you need. But what I've learned about working in the government is the government gives resources to those that know how to ask and ask for the resources. Small businesses weren't minority small businesses weren't getting any contracts in Pennsylvania. I got a call from the deputy secretary. Mike, we don't have, all the procurements are going through Pennsylvania Emergency Management.
I ain't getting none here either.
And they're not getting none, but we'll talk about it. They're not getting them. They're not getting them. We need to get it, but the state of Pennsylvania refuses to do it. We went to the feds. They gave us $12 million. The transportation bill, just got a call from the secretary, $200 million to administer minority contracts under the transportation bill. Here, we have to put a good plan together. While you're dealing with the daily minutia of HUD, the rest of us have to keep these contractors in check so the money doesn't go out the door like it did, right? And then we gotta go chase it back. And the rest of us are sitting there putting in your capital plan. So then come November, October, when the heating comes back on, the plan is in front of them. We prepared the systems to the dollar amounts that we can repair them to. We're honest with you guys as far as what can and can't be done, right? Even the judge's order, it's too much of a heavy lift. It's too much. Fix the mold, right? To fix the mold, you have to fix the heating system. Then once you fix the heating system, you have to get behind the walls to fix the mold. And now at this point, to fix part of the heating system, you almost have to fix the whole thing. $100 million. The heating system is $15 million to fix. The domestic waters put another $10 million to fix. Then all the carpentry work, depends what level you wanna get the units, and those units are all scheduled to be demolished at some point anyway. And it takes up 90% of the attention. In the meantime, Jeffries Towers and everywhere else doesn't. So as I said, ESCO model, energy contracts, and performance contracts, whatever HUD is offering, while you're doing your job, let us go find that. But we cannot find that with one Jackson and me part-time here. It needs professionals. We will bring them. They're outlined in our proposal. And like I said, I'm willing to shave money off that proposal, but what I'm not gonna do is start the long haul of helping you guys out, run out of money in 2 months, and then come back and ask for money. We need at least enough money to get to put every resource we have through this summer. And that's why I haven't signed that contract. Because what I won't do is what's been done here, and nickel and dime you guys, for this, knowing, get you in a bind, oh, that Mike's gotta go in front of the judge against you, we have to renew his contract. We're not gonna do that. I'm telling you what it's gonna cost for me to bring a good team down here. And that's what I would like to have. So respectfully, I ask the board for that. And for those of you that have known what I've been doing behind the scenes and for there, thank you for all your help. For those of you that don't know me, just go to the village and ask around.
You said you was here when it was emergency.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not an emergency?
I was here when it was declared an emergency. It's absolutely still an emergency as far as I'm concerned. But, it's not an emergency. I'll tell you when it stops being an emergency. It stops being an emergency when the last person in the last house is not living under bad conditions, as far as I'm concerned. And there are things that have to be discussed. Like Tom, I gave you a hard time about those heaters. Because sometimes the easy fix is not the right solution. I'm here listening about this flooring in 1960 and losing local labor. Some of the answers I have are not the right answer. You're not going to want to hear what I have to say.
I want to hear it.
I'm just saying, everything safety.
I want to hear it.
Safety is always first.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Safety is always first. Everything that we do has to be safe first. HUD's going to sit here and make you run through things and not pay attention to certain things. And then again, like I said before, when somebody passes away, it's beyond just civil. It could get criminal for the people on the board if you didn't at least do your due diligence. So we will do our due diligence. We will make sure that asbestos tiles aren't being lifted. If that means that we're not replacing floors, then we're just not replacing floors. If that means that that building needs an abatement, then that building needs an abatement. I just bought the same, matter of fact, there's another board meeting going on right now for Frankfurt School. We could fix Frankfurt High School in Philadelphia for $20 million. But I just told the board over there it's going to be $125 million because I'm not putting kids back in asbestos, period. I will give you the truth, whether you like it or not. I will make sure and hold the contractors accountable like we have. I will make sure that the spend is right. If I can go get the money back, I'll go get the money back. I'll assist Tom in any way that he needs. But again, if there's something I don't like, I'll be the first one to say it. Everything that we do is per standards, whatever processes improvements. I'll tell you how to improve a process. That's what we do. Now, as I said before, if you guys don't want that approach, and you want another year and another year and another year of just the same old thing, which is what's been going on here for decades. Just think about it. When was the last time you lived here? When was the last time you saw a major capital improvement in the last 3 years? Other than a new building, an overhaul.
Not when they fixed up over Busby.
They did the Busby development and that was it, right?
That's a mess.
You're 35 years overdue. We're not talking 5 years. You're talking about 35, 40 years overdue. You're going to spend $15 million for what we can fix in one fell swoop, at least put the plan in place. So that everybody can feel confident that we at least tried to do it. And then it's on HUD. If they don't want to give you the money, it's on them. You still do your job. We tell them, hey, here's the plan, we did the capital needs assessments, we priced everything out, we put it in order, we found the federal programs. Now let us go do the work. That's what we're here to do. And if you don't hire us for that, and you want to continue on,
Mike, we
then we're
hired
expensive.
you, we
No, I know.
approved your contract.
No, no, that, oh my God, not the contract I gave you, I don't want to, what I'm saying is this. That honestly, you'll find that the services that you get from us, because that's my goal, is that come October, we're pushing back against HUD and saying, hey, look, this is what we really need.
Right, and I just wanna say, Mike, I've learned a whole lot about Stanley because of you. Because of your reports, because of your true pictures of what it looks like. As long as I've been on this board, it wasn't until you came on board where I have learned a whole lot. I have one question, I do have several questions, but one, you saying that we have to go to HUD to ask for more money. I don't know if that works that way for public housing.
It does. Let me tell you what, and Tom can probably speak to this. So, let's say you get a capital budget of $10 million a year, right? There are several mechanisms, and John Clark is a good resource for this. And Tom's better than me, but I'll show you what we've done because we've been on the construction side of this, right? Whether you use part of your capital budget to do a long-term bond or fund or whatever, whether you do an energy project, which is very common. Newark just did a huge one, right? What that allows you to do is take 30 years of savings and financing and do a $150, $200 million project. There's actually a sheet that HUD has out of everywhere they've done this before, right? From the energy efficiency side or whatever. We have to go find one of those mechanisms. And it's not that you're asking for more money per se. And then, by the way, there's also grant money. We missed a grant September of last year, and we weren't on board, that somebody called me up and said, hey, there was a grant for replacement of boilers and energy efficiency upgrades that we wouldn't have used at Stanley, but we could have used everywhere else, right? Those are the things that we have to give you every tool, every resource. When I say speak with HUD, hey, Monica, here's the person that runs your ESCO group. Here's the person that runs your this group or that group. Come on, let's sit down and talk. Because we have to come up with a plan that does the major capital improvements.
On a project that we're gonna tear down.
No, we do that for Jeffries and everywhere else. What we do with the project that we're gonna tear down is we really start getting slick on the relocation. Right? So what Ed Bethia and I were working on. Right. Is strategic relocation, right? When HUD came in, the HUD director got mad at me because he's like, oh yeah, dude, you got till October 1st. And I'm like, this is the oldest housing authority in New Jersey. These are people's homes. Yeah, it makes sense. They all need to go somewhere, but they all can't just go somewhere. We can't just do that, right? That's why I brought Ed Bethia in with me, because Ed knows people. I'm an engineer, I tend to be more numbers, but I'm very sympathetic to people as well. That's why we put the plan to lighten up the heating load. Now, the problem that we have with like a pure A&E firm, as a pure A&E firm, just like when Pannoni came down, they're oh, this is the best idea. But that best idea has to coincide with the fact that people like to live on Martin Luther King. People like to live on Kentucky. They don't like to live on New York Avenue. And if I can find out that the load on those pumps in that system can drop down in pressure using every engineering resource that we have, driven our own internal knowledge. I've been saying this all along, we can reduce the amount of pressure in that system and we can get down to 8 buildings, 16 buildings, whatever it is. Right. We're not gonna get down to 0 overnight, and we don't have a redevelopment in place yet. So we have to treat it like, okay, and then the voucher plan as well. As you get the vouchers and we put our system together, we can see how we're moving people so we can relocate them out of buildings in a very organized fashion and move them from place to place. And then we can also go into those buildings and generate scopes of work so we can determine This one requires $10,000 worth of paving. And it's in one of the buildings that we're gonna keep. Great. So this is one that we're gonna put on a proposal to you as what we think should be the capital spend. Right? While we're still looking for the big picture one. But no, long-term big picture, long-term capital plan, everything but Stanley. And then Stanley, we start coming up with real good engineering and social ways to help people out. Right? So that when they move in the right way. Then you have a bunch of us that are business owners. Me, myself, Greg Messina, we came in here, Stockton College and Frank and all them brought us in here. And we have banks that'll help fund people, half the home ownership. Those are real good wins. Right? Doesn't just have to be a landlord incentive. We have people that are willing to donate money, that will donate money for stuff like that. And you guys know better about how to utilize the vouchers for that, but at the end of the day, you get.
No. See, we don't have a home, we have a home ownership.
Well, we
don't think it again.
So here's the question, why don't we have home ownership? We got to hire someone, right?
Couple of factors, yeah. I mean, it was active a couple years ago.
Right.
I think it's kind of like or after what, doing COVID or before COVID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it were me, you don't have it in-house, put out a bid, ask for a company to come in that specializes specifically in that. So those are simple ones. We need the Stanley Village is about relocation and some real creative engineering to get the water and the heat right, and the sanitary line, so we don't fix it all. Then it's getting the A&E firm and us to make sure that the scopes of work are really good, and then the contractors, we have to be on them. I walk out there and I don't see anybody following his leader. I'm like, my God, that's
It's supposed to be your firm. It's supposed to be your firm.
Yeah, no, we're not here though. But I'll tell you that. When we were, but listen, so anyway, all I ask is that our contract be revisited and back to a normal
So you
amount.
want it not to exceed to be increased?
Absolutely.
That's what we're getting to. What is he
That's-
asking?
yeah,
So what's the number?
that's-
So I said, our bid,
Hourly? It's double.
No, I'm talking about not to
Can't
exceed.
change those parts.
So
What
like
they
Jerry-
propose
Jerry's
is what they
coming down
propose,
with
and that's
the-
the
But
same.
yeah, what not to exceed, what's the not?
so what we ask is a not to exceed be 600. Right, and that's $300,000 less than proposal.
Here's what I'll tell you, board members, about not to exceed. We, as you know, it's a matter of policy, at least for the last several months. On all new contracts, we have not to exceed numbers. And not to exceed number makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, for budgetary reasons. You want to have an idea coming in, because you know how much money you might have available, and you don't want to inadvertently blow through whatever your budget amount is. And secondly, a not to exceed does give a certain amount of control, even though built into our contracts, we already have the control because in all of our professional
And then
consulting
minorities,
contracts.
because our Jeremy keep getting his $11,000 raise, $150,000 raise,
Let us,
and then
let
it
us
just
not,
seems like
let us
those
not,
minorities, they getting their money.
let us not mention the name of Jerry Volpe.
Well, I'm sorry, but it
But-
just seems like the minorities ain't getting their money, but y'all wanna give up these other races, raises and raises and
Did
raises.
you see
and
his
all that.
skin? He's a Spaniard,
Well,
but,
here. Well,
All right, can we go
All right,
back
let's
to
move on.
the?
and how many minority contractors do we have?
it's not about that. It's
Yeah, I know it's not.
We don't want to
Yeah,
cast this
that's what we
aside.
say.
All right, so one second, if I may. So we have not to exceed, that's a regular thing we do. A not to exceed number is not a number that locks you into anything. You could put 300,000, you could put 300 million. The reality is, under a contract, you have the right, on certain terms, to basically terminate for convenience at any point. So next week, if you weren't happy with them, terminate. A year from now, if they're still under contract. So the question really is just that. We came up with a number of 350, which was based on an analysis and a projection, which necessarily is somewhat speculative about how intense and how extensive is going to be our use of that given contractor or consultant. And what Mike is asking is that the not to exceed number be changed. That would require action in the form of the adoption of an amended resolution by this board, which are basically, I don't have the number of the earlier resolution right in hand, or should we track that down? It would be a resolution, if you wanted to proceed tonight with that, that amends resolution, whatever the existing resolution number is, in one respect only, to change the not to exceed number from 350 to 650. And again, once, if you go that route, then you're not locked into 650, you're not locked into any amount. And depending on how things play out, somewhere down the line, if things are going well and going, a lot of projects are moving fast, Mike might be standing here saying, hey, let's take it up a little bit more because we've done, enough work that we burned through that money, and that would be subject for a different day.
So I'm gonna go around the room, and if we have questions specifically for Mike, we can ask them. If then Mike can leave if we have any other questions. But just to, Mike and 360 Group are project managers. So our maintenance guys, let's say we bring a painter in to paint the room. Oh, okay, that looks good, that looks good. All right, let me sign off on that and turn that in. We bring an electrical person to come in. Oh, let's change this light fixture and all these bulbs. Okay, one of our maintenance guys that whatever come in and say, okay, that looks good. Mike handles all the technical stuff, the expertise stuff, the going in the crawl spaces, making sure Kisby are changing the pipes. So it's that technical cost that requires a technical company to come out and make sure that is good. And they don't just sign off on it, but they're licensed and insured to sign off on that and make sure that work is being handled correctly. That's why right, exactly. That's what his company does, because we don't have and this is standard across the board. We don't have staff to do it. With the school district right now, we're replacing boilers and roofs. We brought in a project manager to come in and manage that, because when it comes to things like that, you don't have the staff that can come in and make sure those things are done. So when he's naming, giving that price, that not to exceed, it's just to make sure that it's come in is done correctly, is not being band-aided, and that to make sure that Kisby and other major contractors, some roofing issues at Stanley. We go out to bid and bring a roofer in as a project manager. If 360, well, they are under contract, we need a quote for you to make sure that the roof is being handled correctly. Any issues with any questions anyone have when it pertains to what exactly this is?
Everything you say, Chair. For me, I always say, I like to be fair with people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I see them work firsthand, because that Stanley coming home late when they would even ordering pizza for residents. That's how, when our building almost blew up because of the gas line and stuff. If it wasn't there, then we would have had a big problem, big issue on our, I don't know how we could live with that. So everything that you say, you're 100% right. Tom's got a lot on his plate. He has a lot going on, to the point that he leave from here sometime 8, 9 o'clock at night. That's crazy.
Last night it was 11.
11. We got called late at almost 11. We were talking all night, me and him.
I'm not complaining, but it was 10 p.m. tonight.
No, but
anything else you want to add? 7 o'clock.
Yeah, what I want to add is we need Mike here, and I know when his
Mike is here.
Okay.
We got to get him to sign the contract.
Yeah, sign the contract. That's what I'm trying. So for me, Chair, I think we need to work something and bring it up. And then, we need it seems to come and do what
Ms. Libby,
it needs to do.
anything you want to add? Questions?
I just want to say, I like the fact that I've always liked the fact that you're talking about a capital plan or any kind of plan. That's what we need to place, not only here in the city too, but I bet that's another.
Exactly. Commissioner Hall?
I just want to know, is it only for Stanley Home?
No.
For Brunswick, we got contractors over here that need to be watched, that haven't been watched.
Not Busby, that's the
Busby
micro. That's separate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, they ain't watching them either, that's why a lot of investors, things falling through, they painted over mold and now it's seeping back through.
All right, this is, providing, it's 7 o'clock, and we said, well, Commissioner, Johnson, any questions? Any questions for, you on mute? Any questions for, 360 group? Commissioner Dorsey?
Can they hear?
Oh, there you go. Commissioner Johnson, any questions for the 360 group?
No, none for me, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, Dorsey?
No, I don't have any questions. I understand that he has a slow vehicle and he needs time to get home, so I'll let him be.
Mr. Manfredi, anything you would like to add to that, some context behind? So that we all understand what this is?
Not at this time, Chairwoman.
Okay, all right, ED, you last? Nothing, you good?
So when you step out there, you want to know where the question?
Sure, all right, thanks, all right, Mike.
Nice work.
All right, Jackson,
See you, thank you.
okay. Yeah,
So, Joe and Rick, I got a question for y'all. You guys been working hand in hand with Mike. Like the numbers that he asking for, like, do you think it's high, but is it like a reasonable for the type of scope of work that they're gonna be doing? And because obviously he don't wanna keep coming back to the board, like, if you run, so your personal experience working with him, and Rick, you three just on there with him being with you, with the lawyer and stuff, what benefit has it helped us, that might be on board with, help us in trying to go to the next level?
I think, Commissioner, I would direct that question to our executive director first.
Our executive director, because he wasn't here doing the interim, but you guys were here.
Right.
That's why I throw that to you guys first.
So what Mr. Brown has done, everyone, is I know for Rick, he's testified in the court case. He has also worked with us on a lot of the procurement coming out of Stanley. He has a very good historical background, probably the most knowledge of Stanley Homes over what's happened, particularly over the last 24 months, that anyone has from a technical engineering standpoint. I know that I've interacted with him a lot when I need answers to questions. We're also likely going to need him on our HUD calls because now the federal government is starting to ask us more and more detailed questions about our plans for Stanley. He also put together a schematic diagram of relocating residents out of Stanley by focusing on the worst units first. So as you've heard of me, he has a high degree of technical proficiency and knowledge about everything that's occurred at Stanley Homes.
Okay, thanks, Joe, that's true.
I don't think there's an issue about the quality of what 360 brings. And I'm not too concerned, as I mentioned, about what number we put on it, because the contract itself, let's say, worst case scenario, a meltdown scenario, if we get a month into it and we really are not happy at all with what 360 is doing, we have the right to build into the contract to terminate.
Okay, sounds good.
Whether we're 10,000 into it or 500,000 into it, we retain the power to do that. And presumably, and say presumably, even though they do bring a lot of both experience about and familiarity with our properties, you just haven't been here. That the rates that they were proposing for the individual functions and job titles within their firm were consistent with what we saw from the other people who proposed. And again, the quality of the product that we've seen so far has been good. So that part doesn't bother me, and the number doesn't bother me. So if the board is good with it, then again, it would just be a case of when we came out of here, introducing a resolution to amend the earlier resolution, the number of which I'm trying to track down, to change that one item.
So what the benefit, like he's coming on board, like the stuff that he was speaking about, how much benefit would that, like how much help would that help with your work?
Especially with the fact that we cannot find a qualified modernization coordinator. I will not say that their knowledge is subpar. It's, they have a lot of technical proficiency. My only concern, if you could even call it that, which I'm glad, Mike did get into, alternate funding streams like the ESCO. If anyone's been a commissioner long enough, I remember is the EPC that HUD was promoting back in the mid 2000s, very similar to that. So, my only concern, again, if you can really call it that, is that their contract is also a capital fund expenditure because it is capital funds eligible. That, as you know, is a finite amount of money, and the one thing that we're really missing right now, which is one of the first things that A&E is going to be working on, is putting realistic numbers and attaching them to the various capital projects that have been sitting on the shelf for a while. So my only concern would be running out of capital funds. But as Mike mentioned, pursuing other sources of funding out there would definitely alleviate that concern for him.
And he can help with that too, right? Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to add, board members, we're going to need Mike with HUD as we deal with HUD on an ongoing basis on a recovery plan. Sooner rather than later, we're going to need him on our calls because of his knowledge and his historical knowledge of our sites.
Joe, Rick's trying to find the resolution number when we approve Mike. I know you're in the office, you may be able to find it.
Yep.
I think it was February.
No, wait, I'm almost there.
He's almost there, he may.
Let me know.
Oh, he got it, okay.
Okay, great. Good work, Rick.
Okay, is that it? Anything else? I think we're done there, we can move on.
So are we voting for him again, or we don't have?
Yeah, so when we.
Yeah.
We're gonna revise the past resolution. Okay, anything else?
Well, we have two non-360 matters.
Oh, non-360, okay, Joe, you have one item.
Yes, mine's brief. Board members, if it is now our 1-year anniversary of Mr. Salen being employed with us. Congratulations, Tom. And as we approach the next meeting in May, it is time for the board to undertake Mr. Salen's employment review. And so what I will be sending you in advance of the next board meeting is an evaluation sheet, so you can see the criteria under which the board can perform his evaluation. And we plan to conduct it with the board's agreement at the next meeting in May, at which point for the board will also be a motion to renew Mr. Salen's contract. Mr. Salen, just so you know, by way of background, had a 1-year contract with the Housing Authority. So I'll be sending those and we'll ask to put it on the agenda for the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yes.
That's all you have?
Yes, that's all I have, everyone.
We had the executive stuff with, we had the.
Well, there's no discussion
Yeah.
tonight, it's just making the board
The
aware.
whole board from where.
We'll have a discussion at the next meeting.
You know, Mr. Mays. Mr. Mays discussion. on that.
Oh, yeah, we were getting back to,
Yeah, I went to the background.
No. Okay.
I got it.
All right, go ahead.
You guys just there.
Okay.
Eli, you mind if we talk while you're out, or?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else other than Mr. Mays?
Real brief, update on Stanley, let me do that. And again, this is part because I'm not sure what was out in public after our Monday session, but on Monday, we were back in front of Judge Porter by Zoom. Because South Jersey Legal Services had filed a motion, and motion is one that's called a motion to enforce litigants' rights. It just means when you have somebody who's a party to a litigation and they feel that there's something which the other party was supposed to have done and they didn't do, then you go to the court and say, hey, I want you to enforce whatever it was that you didn't do. Now, we acknowledge that there were two things that have been part of the case since the very beginning, pretty much, which are the judge wanted us to replace in their entirety all of the gas lines at Stanley, and also to provide information about the safety of using the electric space heaters. Now, we had gotten a report from the engineers, Pannoni, on that, and what Pannoni said in the report was you can use these, and basically the downside is that because the electric service generally at these buildings is not very great, that you have a risk that you could blow a fuse. And lose your power. That was about the extent of it. So we didn't try to get, because I'm not sure, we could have gotten anybody to come in and look at that and go, okay, under all circumstances and all ways, if you use electric space heaters, you'll never have a problem. That's, who's to say? And you get something that sparks and fire could happen, these things could always occur. So we didn't do that, and in part we didn't do it because we knew the heating season was coming to an end. So ideally, we get through what we have to get through this year, and we don't have any issue next year with needing space heaters. Or if we need them, we'll need them on such a limited level that it won't matter. So anyway, those are the issues that were out there, and South Jersey Legal went to the judge and said, hey, they didn't do these things. They didn't give us that report, and they didn't change gas lines. And we explained that, which is all true. With respect to all of our big projects there, be it the gas lines and the new heating system, whatever that turned out to be, everything requires an engineer. Because without an engineer, you can't go out to bids, and engineers got to prepare the specifications. We didn't have an engineer until relatively recently, so we explained, in our filing to the court, we explained the process that we had to go through to get the engineer. I don't remember, it probably started like last November, and didn't get them on board until March, not because we're dragging our feet, but we have to first come up with the actual specifications so that people who are professional engineers could look at it and go, yeah, I'm interested in that job. And then to make the bid, and then, well, as you guys know, we went through the submittals that we got and evaluated them. So anyway, we were in front of the judge, and as we were arguing, the judge withheld a decision. Oh, by the way, what they were looking for in that regard was basically, which is kind of common on motions that type, they said, we would like a financial penalty against the housing authority because they didn't do these couple of things. They didn't say how much of a financial penalty or how it would be calculated. And we South Jersey said, we want to get back our attorney's fees for that we spent having to make this motion, which is a standard ask in that kind of works like that. So the judge didn't make those decisions because he said, in response to something South Jersey's attorney said, that we did not have in our filings, our written filings in court, we didn't have certifications from somebody other than attorneys as to what had happened, which you can have certifications from anybody in support of the motion. And what I wanted the court to see and what I was setting as a basis for the arguments that we made were that we had been moving steadily. Been hiring people, we've been bringing on different consultants. We got the engineers on board. We do have a plan, and once the engineer has a chance to look at Stanley, they're going to give us a real timetable for doing things. So basically, that's what I told the court. We're close. We're not there yet. I can't tell you today. Well, that's what led to the judge saying, "Well, I really want to hear from somebody other than you, other than." And really, Tom's the only logical person. Sorry, Tom. So where we left it is that the judge suggested a couple of days next month and in June when he would be available to have a hearing, and the hearing will be on basically, hey, not the judge's words, what took you guys so long? So there are answers. I think they're good answers to that. He just wants to hear that live in person from somebody who's associated with us. And it's not me.
So hopefully before the time we go in front of the judge, whatever, if they invite them here, we should have good response to be able to give to the judge the reason why,
They'll be able to give a chapter and verse there, and I'm hoping, because realistically, the dates that the judge was looking at next month don't work for us because they were both in a meeting week, and as you know, meeting weeks are going back to. So we're probably looking in June, and by then, things will be happening. So that's that. And yeah, Mr. Hayes, and we will. I think it's one that will.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking about this stuff, about the resident going back and stuff and things now, because it's like we just giving Olga and Mo ammunition to shoot us. Like if they go back, like the Mo issues or some stuff, like they're going back and the residents talk to Olga all the time.
Oh, no.
They go back and just. So that's what I'm saying. Like we got to do something where we're not bringing too much attention to ourselves.
So you won't have to keep going back to the judge and, oh, the cop, you know. Of course. So we gotta figure something out, that's my main thing, like, because especially with the road issues, those things are very serious, like, I feel like, we need to try to,
It's rough discussing it in public
Yeah,
session.
that's why I wasn't
You know,
comfortable.
Michelle was sitting right
Yeah, I didn't wanna go into public session with it, as I was trying to bring it, and I wanna ask questions, as I was trying to whisper, like, to your woman, to wait till the public section to talk about those things, because the more we keep doing it, because she's here, that's why I told her, like, the resident trying to have the meeting, maybe you should give her free publicity in your press paper, because you always talking stuff all the time. So, but we just gotta make sure we don't keep bringing more attention to us, we already have so many negative attention, we need something positive moving forward. So some of those things we need to really try to focus and try to see how we can limit most of them or fix it,
I just want to just add, it's not just related to litigation, but the big missing piece was having an architectural and engineering firm, because we can't put any bids out on the street. Rick's copied on it, and I sent them an email last night, and I presented a big ask. I said, this is a really aggressive timeline, and can you meet it? And this morning they responded and said, yes, it's gonna take a bit of work, but yes. So it's on them to get their people out here, get them in the crawl spaces, start, doing the engineer stuff, and so that we can actually move forward. And if they can do it, then I'm confident we can.
So how long would it take for us to get Mike being here when those guys come down here for them to be able to keep eyes on it, to make sure, like another set of eyes, so I can keep on running.
Yeah, it's not the exact scope though.
Pretty much.
The exact scope, 360.
The exact scope, they're not necessarily doing any engineering. Project management requires them to assist us with the planning, some oversight of the process, although there's gonna be a bit of overlap with the A&E firm, because once you get contracts under bid, Kisby is different, right? Because Kisby is reactive rather than a planned out, capital initiative. And there's going to be times where we're gonna have to make sure that the right entity is doing what needs to be done, which is keeping eyes. Right, but it doesn't hurt to have a second set of eyes. So the A&E firm's not gonna be here on a daily basis overseeing the contractor, but they will come in at certain milestones when the contractor is saying, hey, we hit this milestone, we need to get paid for it. Then the A&E firm, they have to do the certifications on that because they're the architect and engineer of record. But again, on a daily basis, it's the project manager. And everybody serves different roles. Jackson, working with Jackson, and he is heavily involved on the planning side, right? And it's just it's an additional brain, right, to bounce ideas off of. And they are very helpful, extremely helpful.
Well, we get that contract in time, so to be here when the A&E from Keith come up.
Yeah, good news is, well, it's a lot of good news. Okay. Steve Young gave us a lot of time.
I know, that's the first.
So how they would put it,
They will communicate with.
Mr. Brown, he's gonna,
Communicate with.
he will oversee and report to you, and they're gonna be in your evaluation reports
No.
each meeting?
Well, they'll report to Tom, I guess if he has something.
And then Tom come up and give us.
Even better, similar to Mr. Giannetti, who's our redevelopment consultant, we can incorporate a report from 360 directly into the board package.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to you, let's hear your question. We, after board approved entering into a contract, what always happens then is you actually have to put together a contract. And it's usually a little bit of back and forth on that. And there was in this case, we've got a final contract ready for signature, but for the fact that, it says 350. Yeah, so, assuming it goes forward tonight at 6:50, then tomorrow I just type in 6:50 and send it around, and if you really like signs it right away.
I really want them to be at work. They can't be from come on board,
Oh, in fact, Jackson, anticipating, I guess, that one way or another, they will be working.
Okay.
He talked to the engineer the other day, we were on a group call, and scheduled a site visit for Friday next. I think they're bringing the people down. The third? The third, okay.
Okay. All right.
So, Final item, I'll make it quick. Because this is one we're gonna revisit later, once we see what Mr. Mays has. I've seen, and I suspect I know pretty much all that he's going to say. What he's talking about is, for those who were on the board at that time, I don't think you were here yet, Commissioner Hall. Back in March, I think of 23, we had gone out to bid for cleaning services. So we had 3 companies that bid, and as it turned out, and the way we bid is you bid on each individual property. And as it turned out, each of the 3 were the low bidder for one or more of the places. So everybody was going to get a contract. And that's how we did it. We adopted resolutions awarding in accordance with that. So Mr. Mays has got, I think, 4 or 5 locations. And Jeffrey's went to a different firm, which I think, I can't remember, it's AAA maybe, but one of the others done. And there was a lag time for reasons that kind of don't matter now, before they actually all entered into contracts. But the reason kind of didn't matter is the same 3 firms were already the ones doing the cleaning. So they just did, on their old contracts, they extended a few more months. And then as of November 1st, all the new contracts kicked in. So they're all 1-year contracts. So everybody who bid gets their full 1 year. I can't anticipate it, including Steve Mays. So these are contracts that are going to run till October 31st of this year. Mr. Mays, at some point, and I didn't see this, but he says that he sent a letter raising questions about the award of the contract for Jeffries. His argument was some version of, and Steve was second on Jeffries. His bid was maybe, I'd say $15,000 more. And it was about 145 or 150, I think, was the successful bid for Jeffries. So he says that based on the specifications that we put out on the street, in which we called for, a certain number of workers to be there for a certain number of hours, so many days a week. So Steven says, when you do the math and you figure out how many total hours that's going to be for the year at Jeffries of cleaning services, that many hours divided into the bid came out to less than the minimum wage. Basically saying we were calling for, make up a number, 1,000 hours, and based on the bid, it couldn't, you couldn't pay minimum wage and still come in within that bid. So, okay, that's interesting. But when you do the math for Stevens' bid, that's also true. It would still be below minimum wage. So if that's an issue, and I don't think it is, but if it was an issue, it's an issue for both. He then said, and I imagine you'll see this in what he submits to the board. He said, well, yeah, but my situation is different because I don't have to pay myself minimum wage. I don't have to pay myself anything. So if I want to, I can work 40 hours a week at Stanford, 50 hours a week at Stanford. I'm sorry, Stanford, at Jeffries, and not pay myself. Therefore, my bid is a better bid, basically a lower bid than the other guy. So there's many reasons why that doesn't hold water. But the biggest one is that when you, and I told him, we did have an email exchange, and I said, here's how I'm looking at it, and I disagree with what you're saying. And if he wants to go somewhere with it, that's up to him, and where he's choosing to go, and it's perfectly fine. He's to come to the board, see if the board wants to do something. But the biggest issue he has is that when any vendor, any bidder wants to challenge the award of a contract to somebody else, they need to do that within a certain defined period of time after the award of the bid. You can't just hang around for 6 months and say, okay, I think I'm going to challenge that now, when the other guy's 6 months into his contract, which is pretty close to where we are now. So even if he wanted to pursue some kind of legal relief, I don't think he's got the basis to do that. I also don't think the rationale that he's putting out there holds water. So you'll see what he says, and you'll evaluate it. You can ask me any questions, and we'll see where it takes us. What I will say up front, we can talk again about this after we look at his issue, is I think we probably want to revisit the number of hours that we had in the bid package for Jeffries, because it did seem like a crazy number of hours. And Jeffries is a big building, but I don't know how many hours it takes, and I don't know if you need that many guys for that many hours a day, 7 days a week, doing all the different functions. So The way we awarded these contracts, it's a 1-year award, and then we have the right, if we want to award year 2 to whoever was the lowest bidder for year 2. Let me choose others. As it happens, the same firm that won year 1 at Jeffries would be low for year 2. So to the extent Mr. Mays has an issue, that's not gonna go away. But I think we probably will want to consider revisiting, now, I don't know about the other properties, let's look at them too, to see if they have the same kind of issue where we're on paper, we're calling for them to be putting way too many hours into these buildings, which by the way, I'm not sure it's actually doing.
But is it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, do it look like they can put it on,
Yeah.
every time is them to not look like they can put it
That's, yeah, our enforcement is a separate issue.
That's a whole other contract.
Do they have a logging sheet, like when they come in for what time to what time?
Yeah.
And who's keeping track of that?
Initially the property managers, and then those forms go to finance for processing.
Is anybody verifying that, like, whatever is obviously, or just people's own property or whatever doing those work? Because my thing, the one thing, look like he been complaining, I just want us to listen to what he gotta say, Chair. His thing was, he was saying that, I don't know, he working 7 days a week and they're not getting paid for like the extra 2 or whatever, I don't know, so that's why. I'm trying to find out so we can kind of just hear what he gotta say and see what way we can try to, I don't think he's trying to go through a legal or all that extra stuff, like he wanna just try to present his case and see where we all can work together and see where we can come to a solution. So like you say, you wanna look into the like the hours and all that stuff, so maybe that's something we need to sit.
And the other guy is working, what, 5?
5 this week or something.
Yeah, they
you
working
said.
5.
So that was his issue for how come my contract said this and that contract said the same thing, but again, you know, they work on the 5 and work on 7.
Different.
So I told him, say a different contract, I just wanted him to come in and maybe explain so we can see what type of.
Well, no, he's not coming in, but we asked him, he has 3 minutes just like everybody else. But he could put all his concerns in writing and he could present it, and then I would ask if the managers, if we could find out from the managers, how many hours a week are if they're working 7 days a week or 5 days a week and weekends off, if we could get an internal report. We take what he's saying, we take what we are saying, and we put them together, and Rick, and you look at both reports. And come back to us and let us know.
The one thing you can't do, because we are midstream and we're halfway through the contract year, if one of the things he ends up asking for, he sort of hinted at it in our emails, if he's saying, I should have that contract with Jeffries, well, we can't bounce the vendor that's there and put him in. For next year, it's a story, maybe we rebid and things turn out differently, so.
So let's just look at it, I think his concern was more about, it's not being fair, he's been working 7 days for 6 months or whatever.
Well, that's what we'll have them look at.
Yeah,
We'll see, yeah, then we can do a comparison and report back to us.
Yeah, it just I just want us like, you know, a good that it look good for us too as a board, as a housing authority, or we have local businesses to partner with us and work, you know, he's a cool guy, like, you know, very respectful. No, yeah, not cool, but you know, respectful and like, you know, right. Respectful and like, you know, the way he comes in, he's not one of those people that are very loud and then respectful in the way he talks to us and stuff like that, you know, so. God, that was the yeah,
that we bad open.
But just to Rick's point, to what Rick just said, the critical thing is what is he asking for? Because if he's asking for, undo a bid to someone who's 6 months into their job, and that's not on the table, that's not gonna be on the table as early. So that's gonna be the critical thing, he wants to be heard, but the question is gonna be, what are you asking for? Because if you're asking us to boot someone on the job that are 6 months into and that's not on the table, that's not gonna be on the table, right? Just wanted to step up over to some.
You not asking that.
That's true.
You're asking why.
In this case.
I can copy on the emails between Mr. Mays and I'll talk to this one. And while it's not a formal ask as of yet, it's been a heavily suggested remedy by Mr. Mays. But I don't believe it arises to the level of an ask just yet.
Shall I tell our guests?
Yeah.
Tom, those space heaters, how safe are they, are those space heaters?
The space heaters themselves are safe and,
So the kids running around touching it and stuff, they don't.
they've got, so it's not advisable or anything.
Their parents, parents.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, like, where they put the space heater, where they put it at, it's kind of crazy, that's what I'm asking.
This
So I see it, that's right in front of the TV.
Right. That's in front of the TV, what the hell is stuff that?
So, and where they put it, you can't put it behind the couch. So that's what I'm asking. So,
I saw it.
can you stop by and see what?
It's not a drinking one, I drink from.
So the space heaters themselves, as long as they're not in direct contact with flammable material, we clog.
I'm gonna let you open it.
As
Yeah,
long as they're in the
uh-huh.
space, it
It could be, but.
Tell Ava to come back in.
I'm worried about my two kids, that be playing around, the bedroom is so small, it's like, you can't, that's why I'm worried about. I was,
we got them, we obviously reviewed what they were first. And,
I forgot to tell your dad, he looked just like mom, I wanted to know that. He's out.
I see a little bit.
I'm really worried. So she was asking how to return it on this stuff, I had to be sure.
There's a
There's not, that's why I'm trying to check on it. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, as what it says, like, with small children, adults are permitted, right, we don't want to have something on their hand also. But they do have a tip sensor, if it was a tip over, they turn off.
Okay.
I remember that from May. Okay. So.
Good word.
Yes.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. The board is ready to re-enter open session, so we'll entertain a motion. Motion by Commissioner Day. And we have a second by Commissioner Dorsey. Thank you. This is to re-enter open session. Roll call vote. Commissioner Dorsey.
Dorsey.
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Gabay.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Wells. And Chairwoman Marshall. 6 in favor, none opposed. The board has re-entered open session. I would note for the record that during closed session, the board discussed matters of contract, litigation, potential litigation, and personnel. And as a result of the discussion specifically with the matter of contract, it is anticipated that the board will now take action at this meeting. And right on schedule. It is my understanding that the board wishes to entertain a resolution as new business. This would be a resolution by sequence, I believe it would be 9769. And this would be a resolution to amend previously adopted board resolution 9749-02-24, which was a resolution authorizing the award of a contract for project management services to the 360 group of companies. And it would amend, this resolution would amend Resolution 9749 in one respect, which is to change the stated not to exceed amount from Resolution 9749, which was $350,000, to the amended amount of $650,000. May I have a motion and second on that resolution?
Motion.
Motion. I'm gonna give that one to Commissioner Hall.
I don't know any motion on nothing. I want a motion on that.
All right. Second, Commissioner Gabay. That is open for discussion.
All right.
All right, no discussion. Run.
Mr. Hall, did you vote change by told you that Jerry just bought the 360?
Oh, no. Say back here, you can't.
For the record, no such thing happened. All right, we are ready for a roll call vote on resolution 9769. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Gabay.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
That resolution has passed, 6 in favor, none opposed. There being no other business coming out of the closed session, that brings us to item 10 on the agenda, good and welfare.
For good and welfare, I have a certificate of excellence here for Ava. Special counsel tonight. Thank you for giving us legal advice today. All right, make sure your parents pay you, okay?
I like that. I like this position, Curtis there.
So you're one certificate ahead of me. Chair, do we have anything else for the good and welfare?
No, that's it.
We can then entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And the board members, new board members coming on.
Yes, we have one. That should be coming on soon.
You know what that is?
I do, it's not public. So, but,
Oh, we do have one coming on.
yes,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So back to, if there's no further discussion, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Bay, second. Commissioner Hall gets a second. Roll call vote. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Vidal. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
And Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
6 in favor, none opposed. We are adjourned.
Good night. How was the audio? Mrs. Johnson and the audio, was it good? Our first Zoom meeting? Was okay?
Yeah.